You know, I'm gonna.
We just gave you 5.
There's 5 minutes, Joe. So you are welcome, my guy. The people want the Bro Show, and it's on right now. So see you guys at 2 p.m.
Yeah, too.
My goodness. Wow. Hop, pop. Punch that. Punch that.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I am Sharif. Today I got my chat open, so we will be able to shout out everybody. Where are you guys at, man? Let's go. We got Darwin, Juan Padilla, we got Gorev, Cristobal Lo-Fi, Soul Pitchbull, and do not forget your boy Britt Brandon. We got as well some. Yeah, I wish I could read that. Mandarin can't read that. Bax, we got Acrylic, Mateus Lane, Mr. or whatever. Tisha Perkins, I see you, Tisha. Scott H, yes, I see you. Husa Halted, 1806, I see you. We got Adara, we got TX Trader. Mike D riding his way into the stream. We got Benton, come on, you gunners. PO, parole officer. Walter Bovin, basketball boy 44. Abhishek, I told you to stop following me after that ass whooping you got in school. Susie Fox, insurance mama. Marion, day trader cut. Hal Fine Art. We got Felipe Lopez and Bora. Shout out to the Black Caravan Lady. We got Anish. We got Rome 242. Mr. Sid Gudiari. Matthew Santa Cruz. Esvin Riviera, I'm just trying to say some new names, guys. Brother Grimshow. Yeah. Who else we got here? Intelligent, J Haas, Ma, Bob the Dang Dog, Trump's Tariff Slump, TTS. Shout out to my man Grey Worm, Grey Perm. Shout out to everybody who's watched Friday. Good morning.
Friday. Yeah, I mean, happy. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's Tuesday. The thing is, like, Sean and Neil say we owe them 5 minutes, but when you skip the "What's for Lunch" segment, that automatically eliminates whatever overtime we owe them. So there we go. We're equal now, and yeah, Sean, I think is going to owe me potentially a couple cold ones by the end of the evening. So we'll turn out, and I have Florida. He has Edmonton. But enough of that, guys. Let's get into what we're.
Oh, it was who the day before?
Your
boy
Florida.
Carney was tweeting. So they're up 3-1 now?
Yeah, they're up 3-2. No, they're up 3-2.
3-2.
And then the Thunder won last night as well, too. So, yeah, that's what we got going on, guys. Let's pull up the chart. We were trading AMD this morning. Took a nice little move on it. Traded 3 names today, and I'm actually currently, so I took 1 loss on AMD, 1 winner, we both outweighed all of those, and I took another small loss here on QUBT, and I think at one point I was 1 for 3 or something along those lines, and still green, and I'm currently sitting in some Tesla, looking like we're trying to catch a bounce, but I mean, this stock isn't that strong. NVDA is kind of looking like it wants to break out, so I want to participate in this, because I've taken 3 attempts on Tesla. We'll break that down momentarily. So here we go. AMD working really well, but then you can see that NVDA is starting to run into some key resistance zones. So I want to watch the stock and see how it reacts around that 145 strike, because it is continuously growing. Yesterday we seen 117,000 open contracts at that 145. Today, this morning, it was up to 119, 120. So you can see it slowly start to increase in size. So that's very, very interesting stuff. And one thing to note, the volume isn't stepping in for that potential breakout. So keep an eye out on that. Maybe a fade play on NVDA. But what we are sitting in right now, guys, is some Tesla. We'll pull this up here for you guys. So this was attempt number 1. We took a small loss. Attempt number 2, literally break even. And I'm going to get in on the low. I'm in on the lows right here on Tesla as it formed a higher low. So that's a positive sign. Let's see if we can get some strength stepping back up in this stock. Yesterday was a chop fest. Now I'm looking for the things to turn around here in Tesla. There is some size at 330. We mentioned this yesterday as well, too, so keep an eye on that. We reject this and we crack the lows. I'm out of Tesla, and I'm going to be really patient because I do want to hold on to this green day. One more stock that I want to point out that has potentially, looks like it wants to continue with its strength, like AMD yesterday, and that is Amazon doing some big things. And I was watching some things on Amazon. I was either last night, and how they're really in the healthcare. They're really starting starting to step into the healthcare.
Remember him
sector.
sold off a little bit because Amazon was getting into that?
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right?
So there, I wrote it down. But there's this another. It's like U-Scale or something like that it's called. And yeah, so they work with doctors directly. So yeah, it's really big things going on with Amazon. We'll touch a little bit more on that. But it looks like it wants to break up here, guys. A nice hammer candle right below VWAP, Sharif.
Pull up. All right, we're pulling up here on your friend INDO. All right, now INDO trades on the AMX network, bottoming tail candle into the 10 exponential moving average. I was game. So we bought bottom wick right now. We're trying to hold some here for a bigger move. It's a 525. My three favorite numbers put together, a high a day right now on INDO. I know, so sad. Anyway, I'm next beak wetter for me, 515. Then we're waiting at 18s. And then if we can clear that, then we can start talking about a high day fill. Took some good shares down here. Certainly not the biggest position ever, but enough, you know, just to keep weaseling in some outs and wetting that beak, baby, as we move into the high side here. So defending generally 5. Now, it is an ugly topping tail into that 5 1/4, as I mentioned. But what kept me optimistic right now about the move higher on INDO was basically the very, very respectful wick into that 10 EMA. So if this is being traded by an algorithm, which it most likely is, to me, it kind of showed its hand a little bit by showing me it was waiting for that 10 exponential retracement before it triggered a buy. So we'll continue to watch here, positive on it so far, but definitely not clear as it's way too close for 5 here for my comfort. Anyway, that's some information about it to give you some more. It's spready ticker. It's about 3 pennies. Currently, I've seen it as wide as 5. INDO, it is trading on the MX network. Now, that has some implications. If this is to halt, we're unlikely to be able to see what the theoretical auction price, much like the New York stocks when they halt. So just some information on this one, 8.45 million share float, and about 5.8% of that 8.45 apparently is borrowed for short. So we shall see if that information is accurate or not. Let's see if we can get a squeeze. Here's that 511. We're waiting at 15s. It's showing me 12s now. All right, we're creeping up. We're doing that bid creep, as Adara likes to call it at times. Yeah, I'm trying, Adara. I appreciate the support. So we'll keep an eye here on INDO. I've got a lot of small cap gappers right now on the side chart that I do want to bring into your purview here. We're going to talk more about the side charts and what I've got on there when we get back from Adair at the big desk.
Just on Boeing, nice push to this one. I'm seeing reports, apparently a civil aviation regulator said that surveillance conducted on Air India's Boeing 787 fleet did not reveal any major safety concerns. Again, I'm not seeing this confirmed. It's just kind of a report, but looks like civil aviation regulator, I'm assuming here in India. Yes, it was in India. So apparently now this is coming out. They reviewed. It said there was no safety issues. They also said, though, that they urged stronger coordination and adequate spares, I guess, for situations like this. They said, though, in general, no safety risks. So, again, this coming out looks like this actually is official from what I can tell. Boeing here with the India Aviation Regulators who are giving them the all clear, as far as we can tell. Back to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Adara. Really important news, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. Joseph, this one is zigging and zagging right now. I don't know how I feel about holding this one as I have to do the side chart review. So I'll give it to you for a second.
Yeah,
Let's see how this one resolves, and then we'll get back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what you guys are going over here. Mike DeRider, what's going on? My brother, Gorev, your long PLTR. Let's pull up PLTR to see what we got cooking up on that name. I mean, you want to stick to the strong stocks. You're in the right area with this one. So you're long off a hammer there on Palantir. Let's see what we got cooking up. I don't see anything here just yet, but we'll pull up something that we might be able to identify what you're talking about. You're saying hammer, what time frame? I'm curious to see. Let's zoom out and get down to this 1 minute. I'm not seeing any specific hammer unless you're long off of here then, Gorev. Then yeah, that could be a potentially good move. That was a really, really nice look right there, brother. But we can break down Tesla and hop into that 1 minute. There was a couple signals that I was looking at. So there's one right here on Tesla, but the volume obviously isn't there. And there's a couple more indecision. It was these two right here. I was like, ooh, okay, I happened to miss this train. That's okay. Kind of took off without me, but now I'm getting in at the lower ends of the range. So that's just going to increase my risk to reward. It's a choppy mess. I have a strong hunch that this thing isn't going to break out how I'm expecting it to, but we'll hold on until otherwise, right? I don't want to jump to conclusions just yet. You want to hold on to those positions, make it simple as possible. Where's your entry? Okay, cool. Where's your exit? Leave it at that. And then what's your profit targets? Leave it at that. Either one or two scenarios are going to come out to play, and that's why we're going to continuously sit in this trade until otherwise. Unless I go to a one-to-one, so if I hit a one-to-one risk to reward and then the stock comes back against me, I'll just hop out, break even. But you can see that the Qs are trading higher, and Tesla does not want to participate, another sign of weakness. But someone in the chat did point out Dell. Dell is trading really good today. Well, today. All right, Dell. Well, so yeah, here it is. A big time breakout on Dell. And then look at this pull. Oop, that was a daily. Want to get to the 5-minute. So yeah, there we go. A nice 5-minute. You can see this breadth within this stock here. So boom, we're going on this nice run to the top side, and then look at our pullback volume. Stair step down, and then as soon as we attempt to take that second leg higher, the volume steps right back in. So that's some positive signs there on a strong stock. So keep your eyes out on Dell for any potential pullbacks there, guys. A really good look. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. Oh, okay. So yeah, so there we are, punching through some key resistance zones. That's a big time breakout. Look for the volume, which it is supporting it. Now you want to see this level to hold, so maybe you can take an additional leg higher. So that's what I'm looking at. Dell. Tesla starting to pull back. I just mentioned that the market was rallying. Tesla not necessarily participating. Now when the market's pulling back, you see that weakness step back into Tesla. So for me, it's starting to head into the territory, hey, we're not in play right now. There's nothing specific, and then bang, we get a big spike to the downside, and I'm going to hop out of this trade here, guys.
All right, guys, there's a couple breaking out as we speak. Tisha bringing me both of them. Shout out to Tisha, man. She's killing it. RBNE breaking out. It's up 80%. Here comes $10. Now, there is a $10 high a day right now. RBNE. Taking out levels, baby. Keep your eye out on this one. It's up 81, 82%. Every time I look, it's a little bit higher. I don't have any other information on that other than what I've just given you. To 1017 high as it zigs and zags right now. Taking out levels, big boy aggression. This one was active right at the open, halted, it looks like, for 5 minutes. Can't really see. We'll check later. Lost VWAP. Then all hell broke loose to the high side. Hell is breaking loose to the high side. It's taking out all the levels. It's 10.5, Joseph. We just talking about 9.99. RBNE on one right now to the high side. Keep your eye out on this one. This could be halting quite soon. Big move up. So RBNE in focus. Also, Tisha bringing to my attention MEN, I believe. MENS. Sorry, MENS. That is an IPO today. I looked at it quickly. I believe it was halted. It is halted to the upside. 1650 initial public offering. Jiayong Biotech. It is a science-driven biotech company committed to developing commercialization. Okay, it's biotech, okay? Keep your eye out on that one. Adara will give us the information as soon as she has it. Thank you. I appreciate you, Adara. All right, here, we're looking at INDO. Here it goes, 515. I'm waiting at 15s. It's showing me 15s, but it's got 13s on the bid, so it's got to cross for me to get printed. I've layered my orders. Boom, there's one. Let's see if we can get another one. We'll pack our patience, and we'll send it to Adara for more information.
Give you guys some more information here. Again, this is Jiayong Biotech. I think one of the most interesting things here, 750 is what I was seeing as the IPO price. We opened at $15, so double what that expected open price was. It looks like here, I've never seen an offering amount this specific. Apparently they offered just over $20 million here and 50 cents. So very specific offering. Then you also have, I guess, shares here, 2.66 million shares offered. So again, 2.66 million shares offered, offering amount just over $20 million. MENS halted. Nice look. This is the 3-minute chart, so we've only really traded within one 3-minute candle for MENS. I'm not seeing any other IPOs for today to be aware of, though we do have some coming through tomorrow. Back to you.
That, Adara, thank you very much. Always giving us the goods and the information we need. I appreciate you, Adara. I'm trying to get it. And we just, yes, got another print. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
All right, there it is. There's a 515. There's a 520. Now we're waiting for the high day break. That's 25, 525. Expect some selling on the high day. It just got into 525. It obviously sold out as people, or sold out. It sold aggressively there as people were taking profits, obviously, to be expected at the high of the day. It's a double top now at 5.25 on your friend INDO. I ain't talking about that INDO. You guys in the chat, you guys know who you are. So we're going to keep an eye out on that, Joseph. INDO. But RBNE is taking out It is halted. RBNE and CERO are now both halted. Let me find a trading screen for these, man. I'm running out of room here, man. All right, so we're going to have to change EYEN to RBNE. On the NQ, it is. So the theoretical auction price right now on RBNE, 1077, the halt level, 1076. So we're 1 measly penny above that high. So keep your eye out. All these small cap gappers, man. There is a lot running. Your other friend, Bovin there, letting me know about apps. Thank you, Bovin. Appreciate you. My other set of eyes. I already had my eyes on APPS. Up and to the right it goes. Bull flag continuation, it looks like, with an upward tilt. 52% and going. A name that we know. It's a former convict. It's done time, as we mentioned before. So APPS, one that we very much know about in the world of small cap gapper, is going to get involved in this one. I'm thinking, Bovin, the money fills on this. I don't know how you feel. If we get a breakout, this may change my analysis. But the money fills feel like they are just a skosh below that 10 EMA. You kind of had that over here with this doji candle. You had that over here with the other doji. So I'm more inclined to want to base my entries on APPS right around that, in between the 10 and the 20, with leaning towards more the 10, so I can ensure the fill, Joseph. So that's what we'll keep an eye on. Last but not least, Joseph, HUSA. This is a monster. This one also trades on the Amex network. So INDO, HUSA, they're both Amex network names. So you're going to have that gateway or that exchange's permissions in order to trade them and to see the level 2 and everything that comes with that. But HUSA is a little spready for a name. Like you saw that, it just dipped down into 20. It was at 2066 seconds ago. So if you're into that kind of thing, you can handle the spread on small cap gappers, have at it, baby. But it's definitely not my my preferred.
Cup of tea.
Yeah, I can do it. It's just, it's hard to manage risk.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to manage risk when
fair.
you're trying to take scalps. Sorry, I got to interrupt. It's taking out all my levels. Go, Indo, go. Boom to the high side here, Joseph. We're taking out levels. 532 high a day right now on the Indo. All right, we're going to set up at 5s. We're almost showed 5s there for a second. We're going to set up at 40s. We're going to set up at 45s. Where's my money? Let's go. We're going to set up at 50s. No, we're going to set up at 49s, Joseph, because 50 psychological resistance. Let's see if we can get that print at 40. We're at 40 again. It's not printing. We need to cross. Packing my patience. Should probably calm the hell down. Yeah. Because last time I got excited, I got shut down.
Yeah, so. All right, Indo. Yeah, Indo going up in smoke there, guys. So a good look there from Sharif. Boom. And now I'm looking at to short this market. That Tesla trade did not work. But what I did want to point out is look at this. No, Juan Padilla, I'm not trading Tesla anymore. That's that simple. So yeah, look at Google here. Boom, 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 boom. Now starting to pull back. I'm looking to short this market. Apple looks like a potential short here as well, too. You can see that we're starting to consolidate. You grab the top end of this range and look for that move back into the lower end. Then there you go. You're getting a nice little move. But I'm also looking at NVDA for a potential breakdown on that one. I'll go over Tesla momentarily. I just was like, okay, that's it. Yesterday, I did get chopped up on it, and I'm glad I got out when I was supposed to right here. I'm like, yeah, see you later. Now, Tesla can do whatever it feels like. It's weak right now. And I mean, on the grand scheme of things, it is just pulling back. So we don't want to get too worried about that. Eventually it will be back in play, but for my style or if it's your style, right? So we can zoom out and see what we've got going on from a daily perspective. But I'm going to get involved here in some NVDL there for this breakdown. So here we are, just going through the checklist. Is Tesla in a breakout territory? No. Did it open on top of the range? No. Did it gap up or down? Right? Down. So you got to keep an eye out on these things. Is there any high-level catalyst ranking this right now? Not necessarily. So just keep an eye out on that. This is a pullback here, guys. We're still quite some ways off of those all-time highs. Be patient. We might get a dip into these below this shelf and then into this trend line, and then that's when I would look for the continuation. So anything south of this is when I would look to start buying some Tesla if you're looking for that swing. So that's the game plan on Tesla. Looking for the breakdown here on NVDA as well. You can see that we're just continuously, it's this weird incline that we're on. And I'm going to suspect that at some point we're going to start to pull back because this is a big time move. This looks a little suspect to you. Does it not?
It is.
Yeah.
It does look a little sus, but what keeps my attention on that, I don't don't know how you feel about this, Joseph. The higher lows there seem to be
exactly. But the thing is, though, at what point are you going to just continuously grind like that without having a healthy pullback, right? Into some level, maybe like 137, or not even the lower 140s, 139-ish. But this right here is just like, it's a upwards consolidation, in my opinion, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do here? Either break down or head higher. So yeah, be patient on that one. I think at some point we will break through these all-time highs, which is around 153. But I think that's just a game that we need to wait on it, and then we'll look to take advantage of that. So I'm short NVDL at VWAP here, guys, looking for this breakdown to the lower end of the range. I mentioned the same thing on Apple. So if you're a range trader and you're looking to sell the tops, buy the lows, then here you go. Apple's looking pretty good there for a potential move back into the volume weighted average price as the market is starting to come back in here as well too, guys. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes on NVDL. I think there's going to be an opportunity for us to add, so I'm just going to be patient, wait for some pullbacks, and try to get in at some highs. I don't want to be selling the lows in this market just yet, because yesterday, for my style personally, breakout trader, you buy high, look to sell higher. What you want to do is when you're running into resistance zones, you want to see that volume start to step in, and then you can take that move through the break of the key resistance zones or support, whatever way you're going. But you also need the volume to back it, and we're not necessarily getting that right now. Okay, so just be patient. Just range trading right now, starting to get these shorts in play, because I think the market is going to have some pullbacks here in the short term.
All right. I've got one out left here on INDO. I had it at the $0.50, and then it was at the $0.50, so I said, well, what's the point of that? So I moved it up into the high 60s. It's either I get printed at the high 60s or I get stopped out at 498 break even, but which one comes first? So everything in play. Let's let this one cook, see what comes of this one. All right, nothing really for me to do left now that I've only got one B quarter left. So INDO is going to be my, not INDO, sorry, RBNE is going to be my focus now. That one and APPS. But I've already mentioned where I want my money fills on APPS, and it's not giving it to me. It's got a 4-candle monster move. Shout out to Bovin. Great call out, Bovin. But I'm looking for somewhere in and around here, maybe at 7, between, like, let's just say 7 to about 720, 715. Something like that. That's on APPS. We'll see which one, if it comes, and whether or not I enter the trade. Now, RBNE is halted to the downside. Let me just confirm that. Is it not? RBNE, I did not put in on the side chart, excuse me, or on the side watch list there. It is halted. 1024 halt right now on RBNE. Let's keep an eye out on this one. It definitely took out the previous halt level. So as I've mentioned, you know, these intraday halts act as intraday areas of support and resistance. And so this was the halt level. This is the 1 minute. So it halted, give or take, at 10.75. It is now halted at 10.25. It's in no man's land, in my opinion. In between the 10 and the 20, too much above the whole dollar for me to say, okay, whole dollar support. Quarter dollar, I don't use as support and resistance. It's a half in the whole. And the intraday, the halt level got taken. So what's my move here? Well, I'm watching for a 10 hold. That's my first move. 10 holds, then we can have a discussion. 10 doesn't hold, then I'm looking at VWAP, which is a little bit below $9. So you got the $9 psychological support, and then you have below that, about 18 pennies or so below that, you've got, what's it called? The volume weighted average price. Excuse me, I thought something triggered there on my side chart, but it did not. We're going to Adair. She's got news.
Just be aware here, it looks like there could be some more potential escalation or U.S. involvement here in the situation in the Middle East. J.D. Vance just shared an X post that's been pretty heavily, circulated here, saying that Trump might decide that they need to take further action against the Iranian nuclear program, and whatever he does, that's his focus. So keep an eye here on the market. Looks like there could be, again, some ongoing geopolitical issues worth being aware of, because they can and do move these markets, especially if you're looking at any oil-related plays. Back to you.
Yeah.
He left, I don't want to say unceremoniously, but he left in a hurry.
Did he?
Left Alberta yesterday. I left at about like midnight our time. Finished dinner with the boys, the G7 boys over there. He's not even going to get to meet your friend Zelensky. He's not going to get to meet...
That's his friend. That's his friend.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm just joking.
That's Zelensky.
Yeah, get it, Donald. He's not going to get to... What's his name? Modi, as well as MBS. They weren't there yesterday. They're coming today. And so he's taking off.
He's got a lot of things to work.
He's got a lot of things.
He's a busy man, so at least he showed face. Right, he showed face. He
did. He showed
came
up.
over to the Big Berta, but
Big
yeah.
Berta. I like
Yeah. So that's what we going. That's what we got going on. All right, let's go. Breakdown here. Breakdown NVDA. It's another hot dog cannon. Yeah, we're gonna send it off to Adara. We got some more news. The market is slightly range bound here, guys. Let's see what we got going on. Microsoft. Sorry, that's what I wanted to talk about. We're gonna talk about Microsoft right when we get back from Adara.
So, guys, I suspect there will be more news-related interruptions today, as is understandable. Lots happening in the world. European Commissioner, President here of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, making some comments here. She's saying that she believes the trade talks between the EU and the U.S. are advancing. Apparently, they've agreed on a deadline of July 9th. July 9th is also the Liberation Day deadline as well, if you recall. So keep an eye here on the Nasdaq again. We do have apparently trade talks between the EU and the U.S. are advancing. They've agreed on that 9th of July deadline. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. All right, guys, I wanted to talk about Microsoft briefly here because the NVDA is continuously breaking down. This is exactly what we want to see. We're going to start piecing some up out as we get closer to the lower end of this range. All right, guys, so keep that in mind. But Microsoft putting in a nice, strong session. That and Google were one of the stronger of the mags here, guys. So there's Google putting in a high of 77.30 and then now starting to pull back slightly aggressive. But I mean, this run really, really strong. You can see the volume supporting it as well, too. So that's what you want to see in strong underlyings. I am short NVDA, so I do have to keep my eyes on some of the other big participants. Oh, okay. Now, never mind Microsoft. We're starting to take some out here on NVDA as we head towards the lower end of the range here, folks. Let's go. Breakdown. It's a siren. I don't have the hot dog yet. I need to get a little bit more. I need to update my animations here, Shreve, because I know you got a new update there with all your Donald ones that you got cooking on here. Sky was looking to hit it. Sky was looking to hit it.
I need a next page thing. That's
you are fake news.
You are fake news. Hey.
there says get it.
Oh, channeling my inner Kevin O'Leary, the presidential right here.
Oh, I thought you were going to say cash flow.
The cash
you know what
flow,
that was, Joseph?
The presidential.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude.
That's for you, Mark Susi, because
Yeah.
I know how much you love Donald Trump, Mark.
So yeah. Channing the Prezi right here. It's looking good. You can check the borrowing costs, if any, on NVDLK. It's like 6% of Thinkorswim. Okay, very interesting. Sorry, Fabian, would you say something? Oh, he's talking to Shreve. All right, yeah. So there we go. We're taking some more out here on NVDL. I don't want to hold on too much against this because we are at the lower end of the range, and it does look like Apple wants to continue this bull flag type pattern and head back towards the top end of this range. So take that into consideration, guys. If Microsoft, Apple, and Google want to go parabolic, then best believe that the market might drag the market with it. So a rising tide can lift all boats, and see what's happening here. Never mind Tesla, but NVDA is my primary concern. I'm going to take a little bit more out at the lower end of the range and just play it safe. If there is I'll leave some for a runner. If we get that breakdown and we're going to continue that trend to the south side, then I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities in order for us to add there. All right, so just be patient. Going to take some more out here on NVDL at the lower end of the range, just in case we don't get the break through some of these key support levels. And I've been continuously talking about the size at 145 and how it's been growing throughout the week, leading into triple witching. All right, guys. So, keep that in mind. And there we go. We're taking some more off. I took off half of my remaining right there, just in case it does come back to my break even.
We're going to give something a try, Joseph, something that we were talking about this morning.
We're ready?
We got somebody there waiting for us. Hey, chat. What did Meta report in their last earnings? Tell us.
It sounds like there's a lot of exciting market movement going on. You're keeping a close eye on NVDA and all the other big tech names.
Hey, chat, that's not what I'm asking. I'm talking about Meta. Tell me about their last earnings report.
Yeah, did she just shut the door on you?
I think she shut the door. We need a little bit of fixing here, but we're gonna have chat.
It's beta mode. It's beta mode.
We're just perfecting this. We're going on.
We don't want to pull an Apple here though, Sharif, and get it out too early.
Don't be comparing Fabian to Apple. He's over there.
Sorry, Fabian. Sorry, Fabian. Sorry, buddy.
All right, we're going to get that fixed up, guys. Don't worry about it. This is beta mode. We want maybe, you know, a third non-human host of the show. What better person to have than the weird voice of ChatGPT? No, seriously, though. We want this so we can actually make real-time inquiries for information, so that we can keep everything kosher in terms of information. I think it's kind of a cool effect as well. So we'll keep you guys apprised of that as the best production team around gets that taken care of. All right, let's look at what we've got on right now. RBNE open. It did not give up 10. It held 10 like a glove. Okay, so the low of this candle is in fact 994, essentially holding 10. The range on this is prohibitively high, wide, 1115 high there, 994 low. So I don't really know how this cookie crumbles, but I want to see if it holds 10 on another attempt. Here it is again, RBNE trying to make a move down into $10. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I'm very interested. If it loses not just $10, but the 10 exponential moving average, the next area where I mentioned, I'm looking at $9. That is essentially where the volume weighted average price is, in addition to being the psychological area of support. So my focus right now on RBNE, since I'm basically exhausted almost all my shares on INDO, it either prints 569 or I get stopped out on the break of 498. So that's my look. Bovin, APPS, 3-candle pullback on the 5. I'm going to be waiting in between the 10 and the 20 exponential moving averages on the 5-minute chart here for my money fill. Now, it may or may not give it to me. If it doesn't give it to me, fine. Then I don't get the trade. But I will insist on the money fill here. I'm going to go ahead and wait at 720, maybe 7 high teens. That's where I perceive the money fills to be. So, yeah, that's my look there. Joseph, tell them more.
Hey, yeah, there we go. We caught the fill here on NVDL, guys, at a new low of the day. So, again, happy with taking off half of my remaining position and then leaving about 33% for a runner, just in case we were stuck in that range-bound type price action, all right? So I am catching fills lower now, but just playing it relatively safe in this market. And there you go. You see that aggressive bounce there and the strength stepping on the tape. So there we go. It is not safe out here. Apparently, Stevenson, it's tough out here. There's no question. And it's warm, because you know how people get when temperature starts to pick up. But Amazon. What are you going to do? I'm really curious on what this stock is going to do. Are you going to break out, drag the market higher? Consistent higher lows right there, Sharif. So that's a positive sign.
That's no good.
Yeah. I mean,
you're going short. What am I saying? Of
no,
course,
I'm short NVIDIA.
Yes.
I'm short NVIDIA, but I'm thinking of a long here on Amazon. On the Zonian there. Yeah, so we'll see what we got going on. I mean, this is a big time run, holding this trend line steady. This is exactly what we want to see here in a strong asset. So there we go, bang, bang, Amazon. We're, wham, bam, thank you.
Thank you, Amazon.
Man. 10.1% off of those all-time highs. So you're still getting this thing at a discount. Again, so I like some of these big names looking to get involved in them. I don't even want to take a look at Bitcoin today because I told you guys I was getting aggressive and that started yesterday and now it's selling. So it's either my orders are going to get triggered to the stop or we're going to start working up and then we're going to start really, really cooking and adding even more aggressively than what we are. Because I was talking with my good buddy Greg over there in Connecticut. I'm like, you know what, man?
Yeah, where's that guy been at, man?
He's doing his thing, man. He's just doing his thing, that's trading. Cool. Yeah. He likes to keep it quiet, you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Small. But yeah, that's what we got going on. But yeah, we're swinging big. He's swinging big.
Hey.
Apple. There you go. So Apple got that bull flag breakout there, guys. Big time move in Apple, and guess what? The volume is supporting that, Sharif. You see
there's news. Joseph, I got to cover this.
There we cover it right there. Breakout volume. Big time move in Apple there, guys.
All right, here it is. Apple wins appeal to overturn $300 million verdict that came in at 11:13.
Bang.
That is 11:38 now. So I'm checking to see if I got this entry earlier. I did not. This is being reported by Reuters. Just scrolling down more on my blotter to make sure that this was not reported earlier. So looks like Apple has convinced a U.S. appeals court, I'll zoom in, to throw out a $300 million verdict. Doesn't seem like much for Apple, by a jury that found it infringed wireless standard essential patents owned by IP management company Optus Wireless Technology. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit on Monday sent Optus's case back to Texas for a new trial. So this is not a dismissing on the actual case itself. It's a case de novo, being sent to be retried. So we're going to possibly get a very similar verdict. There's no way to say what it's going to be. The Federal Court of Appeal determined the jury instructions of the previous case were flawed. That is usually a case for appeal, as it is a question of law. So we'll keep an eye on that. $300 million doesn't seem like it's a lot to move the needle there, Joseph. So yeah, nothing burger a little bit there.
It would move my needle. That's
Mine too, dog.
It would definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, you're just playing around. But yeah, there you go, guys. This is what we want to see with breakouts. If you have the ability to catch it, and I was talking about this earlier in the session, is that for me, being a breakout style trader, when you are buying the highs, you want to see it work relatively quick, because the longer that you chop around, each minute that passes by, your percentage of being successful slowly starts to decay. But now this is what we want to see. This is a A+ breakout here. Ran into bull flag pattern, ran into resistance zones multiple times, couldn't crack support, but then as you punch through some key resistance zones, you see that volume step in extremely aggressively. And it's crazy that it did not budge the market, which is very, very interesting. So a big pop-up in Apple, not moving the market at all. So hovering around the lows, following, I guess, stuck in turmoil somewhat here, right? Because we have NVDA chopping around range bound. We have Apple that just established a new high. We got Google that's heading back towards the highs. Microsoft is relatively strong, and then Amazon's hanging around VWAP as well too. So a lot going on. We're starting to get a big time aggressive pullback here in NVDL and NVDA, I should say. So this is what I was referring to. I'm content with taking off what I had. Now I literally have about 10% less than of what my original position is. If it comes back to my break even, I've already taken the bulk off through those support zones. The volume didn't step in, and this underlying is range bound. So I have no issues with that. I'm out. That's it for the NVDL trade. A nice little short there. We're going to look for that next trade, guys. That wasn't the most aggressive size, but I did get to add a little bit in there. Just holding on and adding to this green day, Sharif.
All right, keeping my eye still on, on what's it called here, APPS, but I'm watching RBNE breakout. It's taking out 11 again, or it's at 11. It's about to take out $11. 1095, 1090. I was just looking here to see whether I'm going to get filled on APPS, and I think the dip trade that I currently have on is wrong, so I'm going to go take it out now as it's no longer valid. The 10 EMA is a dynamic level, so the current candle that we have, if it makes a new high above 746, I am going to go long, so I am going long here. There we go. So we're long. Let's give this a try. Whether or not we're punching in at highs or what the situation is, we'll have to wait and see, but this is the first 5-minute candle to make a new high on a strong name. So let's go ahead and wait a little bit higher now at 58s. It's already showing me 50s. Let's see if we can get by that 50 penny area. Seller of note at 50, taking out some sell orders here at the level. So there we go. We get the first profit taker on my friend APPS. We'll see how long it's my friend for. So we'll see if we can get the next beak wetter. I'm waiting a couple of pennies higher. It's showing me 53s. Where are we long? 48s. So we'll pack our patience on this one. It's a 61 high on APPS. INDO, I'm still holding that. I didn't get stopped out through the break of 5, and there it goes again into 520. So I'm going to pack my patience there. We're taking out my orders here on APPS. Good look. We just got into 58s. I'm waiting a little bit higher than that, so let's take some more profits here. APPS on the way up. There it is. It just took out my other order. Let's go ahead now and set up at 64, and then you know where we're going to wait after that. It shouldn't be even a question. So we're going to pack our patience. Now, here's the deal. The current candle low on APPS takes me to 738. That will be my stop. $7.38. So we're going to risk 10 pennies currently. Let me go ahead and throw that in there. So we're going to go 737. Then we'll go all the way down to 730 for the last remaining amount there. Going to cancel my prior stop. Make sure to clean your stops, guys, because I certainly have been guilty of that in the past. APPS, good look, but certainly not the rocket ship that RBNE is. Do I have RBNE on here? There we go. RBNE still off the high dates at 1209 HOD on RBNE. Let's see if it can take out that $12 area, but it's a fantastic hold generally off that 10 area. Now, it did breach it. You can see it dips all the way down back into about 950, but the closing prints, both on the closing and the opening prints, excuse me, on the 5-minute candles, both in and around that 10, basically at $10. So Yeah, it's just hard to sometimes gauge that. You don't really know what the hell is going to close or not above that level.
Wow.
Go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah. Google right back towards that high a day. Amazon curling over, breaking through the volume weighted average price. So some really good looks here. Bounce, strong name, being led by the likes of Apple. And I haven't even looked at Tesla to see what it's up to. And let's take a look, and there you go. So yeah, continuing to sell, guys. So this is what I'm referring to. You see the market climbing higher. You see its fellow peers, the Mag 7, moving higher, and this name isn't participating. I'm not looking for any form of dip buys in this just yet, right? You want to be you want to be a little bit more patient. Allow these sellers to kind of step away and cool off, and then I think that's when you're going to be able to find a good opportunity in Tesla. But one thing to note here, guys, I was waiting for an ABCD pattern here on AAPL, hoping for a little bit deeper of a pullback, but it's saying, we're really strong. The volume supporting it once again, but I want to talk about a genuine move, right? So one thing to note through the resistance zones, look at the strength in this 5-minute candle. There isn't a wick to be seen, and then here you go. Look at the volume print as well, too, guys. So that's as bullish and as genuine as a move that you can essentially get. There is no selling pressure on that print whatsoever. And then look at the candle following that here, all right? So you can see that we have another big time volume spike, but the volume, the result isn't as large as the effort. I'm not saying that's something to be cautious about, but just have it in the back of your mind. And when I refer to result and effort, what you want to refer to, what I'm pointing at exactly is look at the effort and then look at the result in the print, and then the effort being volume and then the result being how that candle exactly closes and opens. All right, so that's a really good look. I want to zoom in on the 1 minute time frame to see if it did display itself as a 1 minute ABC, but no, we didn't even get that pullback, just continuing to the top side. I think 200 may be in the works for Apple today, but Sharif, you know what we have to do.
What do we got to do, Joseph?
We've got to check and see what the options market is telling us. Is 200 going to be in the works? Or is there going to be a lot of overhead resistance? Now, let's go to take a little Newfoundland gander right here. All right, so 200.
That's a good one.
40. Have you ever been there?
No.
You never,
I know what gander is.
Yeah.
I watched that, what's it called, Come From Away? Where they land in Gander.
I never.
Remember 9/11? All the planes got diverted. They landed in Gander.
To Newfoundland there.
Yeah.
So interesting stuff, guys. We do have some size at 200 with 43,300 current open contracts, and then there's a little bit of congestion through 200 to 210. You can see we got 43,000, 49,000, and 62,000. Let's see how this stock reacts around those areas.
Well said, Joseph. All right, still holding my position in both. What's my friend called? What are both my friend calls? Where's my print, Mr. APPS? It's showing me 63s. Still not taking out my prints. I'm waiting at 64s and then 69s. It got up to 63s, no print. That is the new high day, $7.63 on APPS. It's stair-stepping up. It's incremental. It's not parabolic. So don't expect it to, break out like RBNE. I just don't think it's that kind of stock. What is the information on this? Let's give the deets on my friend APPS over here. So we got a bigger float generally, about 94 million shares, just a little bit less than 94 million share float, 93.83 says Trade Ideas, but we have a healthy short float, guys, 7.85% of whatever 94 million shares, give or take, is board for short. Again, as I always say, that information could be up to 14 days old, as we don't get that information updated all the time and in real time. So we'll give you that caveat, and you can make of that information what you will. INDO, INDO, still holding this, and this is a bit of a problem now on INDO. It's not breaking down through 5, but it's got a lot of consolidation at that $5 area. Now, the consolidation is not coming without its issues. The issues on INDO is the spread is opening up. And that's not really the good idea right now. It's 2 pennies right now. I've seen it as wide as 13, 15 at times. So it's a bit of a bamboozler. I'm keeping my eye on HUSA as well. So I'm more reluctant, I want to say, to trade this one. But if it sets up above, I want to say 1940, 1950, if it can close decisively above that level, I think I'm a buyer here for another move back into possibly 2220. It's got, you know, higher lows on the current candle, not necessarily higher highs. So we'll keep tabs on that. But it's the RBNE show. It's about to take out 12 again. It's a 1209 HOD. This current candle on the 5-minute chart on RBNE has a high of 1187, so just barely rejecting that $12 area. This thing is on that good stuff right now. Be careful with RBNE as quickly as it can give you profits, as quickly as it can take them away. Look how it's trading, the tape teleportation that's happening in real time as we speak. So RBNE in focus, INDO in focus, APPS and HUSA. Those are the ones I'm more inclined to want to trade, with HUSA being the bottom of that just because of the spread. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now. Yeah, wow, RBNE, man, this thing is on one. Joseph, geez Louise, this thing is strong, bro. So yeah, here we go. We're about to take out the high. We just touched 12 again. So I believe the current candle high, we opened up a new 5-minute candle. The high is exactly $12 on the current candle, but the high of the day is 1209. Be careful with that. APPS out of almost the entire position. Got a couple of more, 4 more beak wetters on this one, but it is right back into my level. And if it loses 740, that's the end of the trade. I won't be DCing into this. We're already taking the profits and we're not going to give it back up. Joseph, what do you got?
Same thing here, guys. So we'll go through my trades here on the day. Now trading 4 names. This was our short on NVDL. That one feels good. A little monkey off the old back. So that's NVDL. We'll pull up the other semi-stock here. We were long one, short the other. Cool stuff, cool stuff. So a nice long here on AMD. And I mean, it grind higher. I had a target. See, look how, that's the thing, right? I held the bulk of my position. So what was it, 127.80, and I didn't partial until we were at 129. So over $1.30, I just held that, and then boom, 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 start to take some off, and I did get stopped out. My remainder 33% break even as it came to here, but then it eventually did grinding. And that's one thing that I'm actually working on, is just getting back in on VWAP holds, because I know Neil's pretty good at that, and I've missed a couple opportunities over the past couple days of just like, okay, yeah, you get the initial move, but then the pullbacks are a little deeper than expecting. But if the strength is there, then look to participate once again and hop back into that trade. So that's something that I'm going to be working on, especially in this, I think, in this bull market that we're experiencing. So there's a good opportunity for those things. Amazon is the one today, guys. Big time moving here, Sharif. You can see that we're moving back towards the high of the day. Gorev, Los Polios, Skull, Mike DeRider, Tyler versus Stevenson, my guy Tony, Diggity, Scott Thompson. Look at this beautiful signal that we've seen right here on Amazon. Massively strong opening drive. You can see this 5-minute orb, you crack it, and then you get a nice over a point move there on Amazon, but then you get this hammer right below the volume weighted average price. That's where Gaurav and I are looking for indecision. In and around VWAP at extreme highs and in extreme lows. It's unfortunate that we didn't take advantage of this trade, but I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities on today's session. So really good look there on Amazon, Sharif.
All right, we are going to Adair.
Just to let you guys know here, it turns out from what I'm seeing, it looks like there's actually going to be someone still representing Donald Trump and the U.S. administration at the G7 summit, even though Trump himself did leave last night. That individual is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. We know he's been really involved as well in these trade talks. Keep an eye. I'm just seeing this coming through. Apparently, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent serving as Trump's stand-in at the G7. So definitely, I guess, potential avenues for some trade deals or conversations to be had. Back to you.
Much for that, Adara. All right, keeping my eye on INDO because it's right back up into 531, 535, the area high. It's a 550 high today, guys. So keep your eye on this one. I want to see if it can take out some levels right now. So we'll pack our patience there. I'm also involved in my friend HUSA. We're long at 89s. It's showing me 90. I don't really know how I feel about this trade. It's having trouble taking out 90, so I'm going to flatten out break even over here on HUSA. I'm just lucky to get out of trouble on that one. I did dollar cost average quite aggressively at 19.5. And I'm happy I got out of this one because it feels like it's a false breakout. And as I watch it just drop off that level, it makes me feel a little bit better. Now, if it ends up going, it ends up going. But I feel like I got into this one a little too haphazardly. HUSA is what I'm talking about. What I was looking for ideally there was a 19.5 break. By the time I punched in, I was literally at $20. So that was not the move for me. So, just happy to get out of Dodge and go unscathed on that one. Lost exactly 3 pennies per share on that last one. So I'm okay with that. Apps were out of that one. INDO is the only one I've got involved in. I'm still involved in, excuse me. And the spread on this one is just getting wider and wider and wider there. Now, what else do we got on here? CGTL, one that I've spoken very little about, but one that has quite a calm and respectable pattern. And this is a holdover from yesterday. It was very strong yesterday in the earlier time slots, and then it became quite consolidative during the afternoon session. Today, it feels a bit more directional with higher highs and higher lows. Seems to be holding off that 10. Just as I say that, it loses the 10 and drops it to the 20. Thankfully, not involved in that.
Those are good times.
Those are good times, right? But they're worse when you're involved in them, right?
Oh, yeah.
205, 204. Joseph generally is the volume weighted average price. Let's see if this one holds up at the 20. It didn't hold up at the 20 here, so I'm less inclined to want to base anything off the 20 unless it proves itself to me. So gonna keep an eye on that. I see you, Tisha. You're talking about RBNE. This is just nuts for me on RBNE. It's a little above 11. Now it's looking to lose 11. It just prints the high of the day at 12.46. Loses $1.50, and quicker than you can say you're a loser, RBNE. Quicker than that, it dropped down quite aggressively. Now it does have a prior candle defend of $11. So if you are to punch in, say 11 right here, you just give this a couple of shekels below 11. Just make sure you are using good stop placement and stops that will trigger, ideally, right? Because you have to give them a good spread. Otherwise, you can just find yourself on the backside of no liquidity.
Ooh.
Yeah, you don't want that, Joseph.
Ooh, no, you don't want that. Mike Peter Ryder putting in his most favorite thing, Trader TV #1. At least I see that at least 10, 15 times a day. If there was a reward for the most motivating people, it would go to you and John Van Sawyers, our guy John Van Sawyers. You are the new John Van Sawyers there, because he says nothing but nice things. He's always like, great job, Adara, great job, Ramin. Even though he doesn't even see Ramin half the time, he's telling her great job. So that's just speaks of the type of person.
Yeah, bring in Ram. There
Where
she
is she?
is.
Okay. Oh, do you see the hand there?
Ram, give him a glimpse of what you're working on.
What are you working on there?
What you got over there, Ram?
Nothing. She got nothing going on there. It's all secrets. We can't release it. This isn't Apple Intelligence. We don't release
Whoa. All right, now we gotta segue into this.
Whoa, Adara. I heard Adara said we're gonna segue into this.
We're gonna segue into this. So, Joe. Adara.
Hi.
Go ahead.
There's just a lot of Apple Intelligence dissing, and I think they're, I get it. They released it too early, but they didn't do it again. And this is over a year ago now. I think, I think the dead one gets some deserved heat, but maybe at this time it's time to let this apple just rot in the compost and stop bringing it up.
Shut the door, Adara. Boom.
She's like, no, Joe, no, I'm not having any of it.
Nah, man, she's absolutely right, bro. 100%. And I told you yesterday.
Yeah, we talked about it. They lowered the bar. I think that was the right play to do, especially what happened with AI.
Everything you're saying is accurate. But I think that, like you and I talked about yesterday, this is really a China story.
Yeah.
It's not as much an Apple Intelligence story. It's going to really come down to how the tariff deal between China and U.S. turns out. Because whether they want to build in India or not, dude, the fact of the matter is the majority of the components are coming from China. They cannot decouple from China. It's not feasible. Now, guys, I updated. This is the 13 Pro Max. And I updated to iOS 26 yesterday. Now, to be fair, it is beta, right? It's the beta version, so expected to have glitches. But, bro, this thing met me with glitches at 5:30 a.m. this morning. It was already glitchy. And I got to tell you, on top of that, I know it's an older model and everything, so it's not, I don't anticipate it to be, super smooth, but it's kind of choppy at times, which for Apple is right? What is this, Android?
Yeah.
Right, you know what I mean?
What is this, Android?
Sorry, guys. I have
this out here.
I have Fabian. I just don't want Fabian to kill me, bro.
Fabian, and
watch
out Obi, too. Obi, too.
Yeah, Obi, he's already -1 over here
for the chair. I see how.
No, but seriously, though, guys, it is quite glitchy. For example, we have this app that allows us into the building. It uses SSID. And the app that
I like the background though. Oh, can you do the 3D aspect?
Yeah, so it does everything, right?
Okay.
So the SSID and stuff that was previously working is no longer working. So there's a lot of stuff. And I gotta tell you, this glass thing, it's okay. I mean, I know we gotta go to Derek. Can we go to this camera over here, Assassino, so I can show the people? No, that. Yeah, there we go. So you can kind of see like the whole glass effect there. I mean, it's to me, it's
The thing
it's
is,
not.
I was learning how to do that on PowerPoint. Like it's not.
bro,
It's a simple
it's
effect.
not- it's not that
It's
impressive.
nothing dress. But are we going to Adara?
Yeah, I think we got to.
Okay, we're going to Adara. But the question is, why did they do this? Why?
I don't hate it. It's just not mind-blowing.
But like, why? What is it leading into potentially?
iOS 13, bro. 2013. They haven't updated the iOS. We're gonna go to Adara for happening now, and then Neil's got his lesson of the day.
Here's the very range-bound market as traders continue to assess what's happening in the Middle East. And Donald Trump opined here on Truth Social, saying that the U.S. now has, quote, complete and total control of the skies over Iran, talking about how they have American-made equipment, and ending the post with, quote, nobody does it better than the good old USA. So Donald Trump here on Truth, that came out about 5 minutes ago, just so you guys know. Certainly this situation is on watch, of course, because it can have implications for the market and the world. Also, it's worth noting here, Goldman Sachs apparently saying that they believe autonomous cars could slash insurance costs by 50%. That's according to Fortune magazine. Unclear what the timeline on that would be. Let's talk about some of these other stocks here and individual movers. Apps here, APPS Digital Turbine. We know Shree was involved in that one, but it's not the only earnings day one play. There's also Ladar, which is sinking pretty aggressively here. LEN on a bit of a mixed earnings report. Palantir as well. This one actually initially looked like it was holding it pretty well, but dropping pretty hard off of its day high and making a lower high if you zoom out a little bit here after OpenAI won a $200 million Department of Defense contract. We know that's very much Palantir's oeuvre. Now it looks like OpenAI is stepping on their toes. Keep an eye here on PLTR, LEN. And before we send you back to the guys, we're going to send you over to Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Dara. You never want to be a one-hit wonder unless you're Rick Astley. Right? Like sometimes a one-hit wonder is able to, and the funny thing about it is, like, it's not really, he actually had 2 hits, and if it comes back later as a meme, then you get a little bit more fame. But that's not the norm. And as a trader, you want to make sure that you can do more than just have a couple of good days in a row. You're trying to build, whether it's a side income or whether you're fortunate enough, and I say fortunate enough to be a full-time trader, that's not an easy thing to do to get your primary income from trading. It's very difficult. And one of the things that allows you to do that is to have consistent profitability over longer time frames. So I'm going to show you that. I want to talk about the difference between trade, like how you can be up over a month, over a quarter, over a year, as opposed to being up on a day. And I'm going to start with, I think, the best example that I can show here today of it, because in IBIT, and I know Joe was talking about like continuation trades. I probably should have been continuation short on IBIT, but I'm not. But here's what I want to show you. We only really had I actually only had a couple of entries in IBIT yesterday to the long side, right? So on the way up, I got 2 longs on IBIT. I had 4 longs on the way down here on IBIT. So downward trend, not good on IBIT with twice as many entries as I had yesterday in an upward trend. So over the 2 days, you're like, oh man, well if you traded it twice as much and it trended down as much as it trended up, you should be down, right? No, up. Why? Because losses small. Losses never extended past that prior bar, which is my rule. Keep them inside of the pocket. You'll hear me say that a lot. Whereas when you get the win and you say you get a dip buy, yeah, you can take some at a target, but then hold the rest for the bigger move. And that's why you'll see me try to hold till that next gap. Because if you do that, then you allow your risk to reward to work. If you take out 70% of the trade inside of your risk to reward, and then you don't have anything left for the bigger move, then all of a sudden when you're taking those hits, they are going to end up too relatively big against your winning trade. And the other way to think about the consistency in trading, or what I say, not taking out those big losers relative to your wins, is have a sense of perspective. Now, ultimately, I'd love to be able to show you a win here, but that's not what learning is about. I'm not here to toot my own horn. Now, obviously, we were talking about the mean reversion in Reddit, and that this was going, like, I like that setup. And if you look at a 15-minute, okay, fine, Reddit made the move that I wanted, but I didn't get the trade that I wanted because I follow my rule. There's my entry. it broke down underneath that prior bar where my stop was. It actually almost stopped me out here and missed by like 2 cents, and then stopped me out a little bit later. And if you look in at this, there was a moment in here on Reddit where I could have scalped it for 50 cents. Certainly. Now, what am I giving it here in terms of risk? I'm giving it over $1 worth of risk. But if I'm scalping out 50 cents when risking $1.25 and I'm taking a bunch of outs in here, well, that doesn't really work if that continues to trend down. Like, ultimately, if you look at this trade, I could have held it $2, $3 against me, scalped out here for small wins, scalped out there for small wins, and then averaged an out of about $1 to $1.50 after holding it $2.50 against me. That would be a green trade, as in my P&L would be up. However, does that actually make any sense? Not really, because I have to ask myself, if I do that trading strategy 7 times, let's say, just call it like 3-4 times, let's call it 2 or 3 times a week or so, 7 or 8 times over in a month, what's it going to give me in the long term? And in the long term, I know that if I do that strategy, where I'm too aggressive getting it out here and then trying to hold it for a wide stop, I know that that's going to lose me money over time. So you've got to be willing to adhere to your plan every now and then, where you take the break, it doesn't really go. You just listen to your strategy, make sure that I'm only taking out profit for big wins and adhering to my stop. You've got to be able to take that L so that if you do get a big mean reversion, I'll use the example kind of if I had been looking for a short revert, like you could have taken something along that line, or maybe you break this trend line in here, you get this short, the same mean reversion that you take back into VWAP, where you're giving it a chance to work big, and it's not always going to be there. If you start skewing your risk to reward in an effort to just be green on the trade, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt, because what happens is when you're wrong, you're going to have the full boat. When you're right, you're going to have not enough on board to be able to hold for that bigger move, and your risk to reward is skewed. And that's incredibly difficult to be positive over the long run, any kind of a long haul with that strategy. Now, the other thing that you've got to be able to do when you're consistent, and I say this all the time, and Joe was talking about this earlier, don't let the stock off the hook. Like if you have a strategy, and I'm just going to use VWAP as an example here. Like if the strategy is, okay, I wanted run at 625, throw that out the window. Once it breaks down, what's the entry for the short? It's VWAP, 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 VWAP. Well, then you want to make sure you're trading it off of that level. I'll actually give myself a fail on Sunrun despite the fact that I'm up on it. Why is this stock a fail for me? It should be obvious, because it's a trend down. Well, how many touches of VWAP are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many times did I get into the short? 1, 2, 3. So am I up on the stock? Yes. Do I consider it a success? Absolutely not. There were 7 entries and I have 3. We're day trading here. It's one thing to say, okay, but I held to get a big move on one of them. That's great, but I also missed a reload, and you could be up twice as much if you get that reload. I could be up 3 times as much if I'm scalping this off that VWAP entry. So you've got to be able to understand, I'm not ranking Sunrun against Apple or AMD today. I'm ranking Sunrun against Sunrun. A trade is a trade. How you did on it is your decision making within that trade, not relative to some other thing which had a completely different setup. Like AMD didn't give me 7 possible entries. Sunrun gave me 7 possible entries. So did I make enough on it? No, because I missed 4 of them. And that's how I have to look at things. And I'm actually happier, just to give you an example. Sunrun, fine, I'm up on it today. But I'm happier with my execution on Reddit, which gave me 1 entry. I adhered to my stop. I wasn't willing to scalp out and compromise the risk to reward, looking for that bigger move. I traded it how I should have, which means I followed my plan. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. Follow your execution plan, everybody, so you can be consistently profitable over a longer period of time. Because ultimately, that's what you're looking for. You're looking to string positive days. The longer I've been in this game, the more interested I am in having a good positive month and positive quarter over positive day. You want to have that long-term outlook. because that's where consistency is bred from, not that back and forth every single 2 seconds or so. Yeah, of course, when you're trading, you're going to be a little bit active and you're thinking about it in the moment, but you want to make sure your strategies are winning over the long term. And that starts with executions that are focused on that mentality. Good luck, everybody. That's your lesson of the day.
That doesn't get you goosebumps. I don't know what will.
Yeah, golden nuggets as always, coming from Neil. Another big time breakout here, guys.
Ooh.
Seeing this time in the likes of NVDA. Oh, whoa! Something happened
Apple
in the market
just dropped
here. Apple
big.
just tanked. There's some volatility spike that just hit the market. This is gonna be.
I see
I'm
it
really
on all
curious
of them,
to see
though,
what's going on.
Joseph, yeah.
The Qs are chopping around.
Yep.
Adara's on it, so we're gonna be going over it to her at any moment. As soon as she finds that out, then we're gonna send it to her. But there we go. As soon as I get it in my ear, we're going to Adara. NVDA volume supporting it. Let's see what she's got for us.
So unclear if this is the reason, but one thing, this actually came in a little bit, like probably a minute before the drop. Israeli military saying that they've launched, that there have been missiles launched from Iran towards Israel. So Israeli military saying apparently, I guess some missiles have been launched towards Israel. I'm not seeing anything else to explain this drop, but it is market-wide. I can confirm that for sure. You can see it in this look here in the market. Also, apparently, according to Reuters, the U.S. military is moving fighter jets to the Middle East and expanding deployment of warplanes to bolster defenses amid the Israel and Iran conflict. Apparently, that's U.S. officials telling this to Reuters. We know there was concern as to whether or not the U.S. would be involved. Looks like they are getting involved right now. Back to you.
Yeah, it's your boy Donald was CNN was just kind of quoting one of the things our friend Donald said there. He's like, we control the skies over Iran now.
Oh,
we control it.
Yeah,
It's like, Donald, I thought you didn't want to get involved, brother.
Yeah.
And now he controls it, Joseph. He's in control now.
Honestly, Sharif, I don't like this war.
No, I don't like it at all, bro.
Nothing good comes from it. Children, especially when the kids and just innocent people get involved.
It's ugly, but what are you going to do? All
it's ugly, man. We got to find a way to just everyone be peaceful. The world currency.
No, nobody's going to be peaceful.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's tough, man, but you got to just...
Kanye East, you're right, bro. Peace
say,
through strength. I mean, that's the old adage, Kanye, right?
Yeah,
like peace through strength, mutual assured destruction, all the old stuff that, we were taught growing up. It still doesn't make the loss of life any better, bro. I mean, it really doesn't. But that's just the way it is. Tisha, GALT, say less. Tisha, it's already up on my scanner at the top there with my top chart there on beside the scanner. Big move here, Joseph, for your friend Galt. Let's go, Mr. Galt. Load up. Okay, well, Mr. Galt's taking his time to load up. There it is, 266 high. Are we going to halt here? Nope, not yet. 266 high, GALT, big boy breakout. The volume is decent on it, about 4.5 million shares here traded on, a $2.5 name, $163 million market cap. Let's give the float and the short float. Okay, great. This is one that I definitely want to involve myself in. About a 20% short float on a float of 44 1/3 million shares, reports Trade Ideas. That's a fantastic look for me. GALT has earned its way onto the side chart. It's about who we're going to take off now. It's really hard to decide. SOGP is going to lose it. GALT. We're going to put that on the side there. Thank you, Tisha, for that ugly topping till candle, though. However, Joseph, manifesting right now on the 5-minute, 266 high. It's losing the bid. It lost the $0.50. I'm a buyer here at 232. Okay. If it holds the 10, which it has been all morning, look at all those wicks and all those closing prints holding that green line. I'm a buyer there. I'm just going to put the odds in my favor, and I feel that this does put the odds in my favor. Let's put GALT and change. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put a dip trade now at two high 30s. Okay, we're going to wait at 2 high 30s. We're going to go 38s or whatever, something like that. Let's see if we can get something around there. It's on the breakout right now, so it may not pull back. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one, guys. GALT, thank you, Tisha Perkins, for pointing that one out. While Neil was dropping said lesson, I did scalp a little bit here off 12.5 into about 13 on RBNE, but, it makes it look like a paper-handed trade. I didn't want to deal with this one when I was in the bathroom. That's kind of what we do when Adara does happening now and Neil does his lesson of the day. It did pop into about 1388. Ram. Leave me alone, man. I'm giving the people background information there. Ram. All right. Nobody wants to know that, Neil said. So anyway, where I'm holding over here for a possible dip trade on my friend GALT. Joseph, give him what you're looking at, my man.
Yeah, I'm looking at NVDA here, guys, for any form of indecision, maybe a continuation of this move. One thing to note is that the market isn't really participating. Look at the Qs, and this is what typically happens. We've seen this last week in the likes of CPI. The market just moves sideways until it finds a definitive direction. So, yeah, there we go. This is what I'm seeing here. If we do decide to break out, then if we go parabolic, then I'm just going to wait for any form of indecision at the lows and then look for a move back to a reversion or revert back to the mean. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I think NVDA is going to tell us a lot here if we can continue or we head back into the range. So a couple range-bound names, the overall market slightly range-bound, and then you can see that NVDA has been just trading with, what's the low here? 144.05, and then we have a 145.18 high. So within $1.13. Yeah, $1.13. We're trading within that range. So just be a little bit more patient, guys. That volume is supporting it, so you could get that grind higher to maybe these pre-market lows, but you can see the consistent defense at 145. It's consistent. You get that breakthrough. Yesterday, we seen that massive volume spike step in on NVDA, and then what happened shortly after?
What?
It comes back down.
Oh, your boy panned up.
Yeah, your boy panned up. I mean, this is what we're getting at, right? So 146.18. Look at this. Wow, Gorev, look at this signal.
Got it, Gorev.
Supply zone, punch through it. It says, we got the amount of shares we can continuously defend this level so that all our contracts, whoever's writing those 145s, is no longer offside. So, yeah, that's a good look there. I mean, it is continuously increasing, and I referred to that, but it could not hold 145 and then break out further. So that's when you're not going to get that gamma squeeze type effect. So you just continuously direct. Another 145 bounce right there. I think Obi would really like this one. Another 145 rejection right there. You head into 145 again and you break it down. And then you can see we head into 145 again. And then now we're starting to pull back and head back into the middle of the range here, guys. So those high levels of open interest coming into play once again. And that's why I decided to short it.
I tried to punch in on GALT at 55s. It was literally at the level. Now it's at 70. So I missed that one. It wasn't even that spready, man. I don't know how I didn't get filled, but I didn't get filled. That, needless to say, I didn't get filled on my 10 EMA retracement. That obviously has gone unfilled. It's a 270 high now. Now I'm looking for the micro pullbacks right now on my friend GALT. So let's see how this does. I'm thinking, since we're a little bit off the high, I can get in a small position here, dollar cost average into that 240 at the most, and then, we'll have to stop out there. But this one is up and to the right. I'd like something near the 10 EMA. It's not giving me the 10 EMA, despite the fact that it had been all day, and, that is a bit of an issue now. Look at it, just keeps going. I'm going to punch in. Let's just see. Again, it's not letting me in. That's ridiculous. I offset by 3 pennies. It's still not letting me in. It's just too strong. All right, that's fine. That's 3 entries now. I couldn't get in.
That one.
Pardon me?
You punched that one?
Yeah. It's too quick and too strong, and I offset 3 pennies, so it should have been filling there. And it has nothing to do with the exchange. It's obviously very strong and being aggressively bought up right now. This is taking out all the levels. 575. Here we go. Wow. Would have been 20 pennies in the money. That feels like crap. You don't want to punch in at highs like this unless you get a micro pullback. So I'll continue to watch here. I don't have to get in right now. If it goes, it goes. That's the nature of the beast. I'm keeping my eye simultaneously on INDO. It looks like it might be double topping at 5.5. It rejected initially 5.5 at maybe a quarter after 11, and it just did it again. So that is a bit of an issue for me in terms of continuity, because I've got my profit taker at 69s. So we'll see if that even comes into play. But right now, Joseph, we're rejecting at 75 on GALT. Keep an eye on this one.
Good look there, guys. Ready for this? Level up your trading game with Prop XP, up to 1 to 200 leverage and static drawdown. Scroll the site. Pick your challenge at propxp.com. Trade directly on our platform. Sign up, try it for free, and start your trading journey now. Enjoy rapid payouts and real human support, no bots. Rated 4.6 stars on Trustpilot, trusted by traders worldwide. Right now, get 50% off with code TraderTV. Links in the description. Be the trader, get funded. Join PropXP today. PropXP, your edge starts here. Visit propxp.com. Guys.
All right.
Yeah, good there. Yeah, so I like the Qs at these highs. We have a defined risk profile, so you don't want to go right at the top of the resistance zone, just slightly above it here. So okay, so there you go. So that's going to run into yesterday, a base, some resistance there from yesterday that's acting as support, now current resistance. So that's a positive sign. You want to give it a little bit more room just in case you do get that fake out, a nice liquidity grab through some of these resistance zones, and then the slow curl over back to the lower end of the range. So that's what yes, Whisper, yes, sir. So that's the game plan here on the Qs. See if we can get that short to come into play. Going to start relatively small, but a choppy mess. Range trading, sell the highs, buy back at the lows, buy the lows, sell back at the highs, and you've seen that in the likes of the NVDA trade today. That worked out relatively well for us. So that's what we're going to get going on. Start really small here on the TQs. Also, just want to protect a lot of the gains here today. So we're in now looking for the lower end of the range. As soon as we get into that area, that's when you want to start to take profit. Thesis starts to work out. Add a little bit to the position, get out near and around the volume weighted average price. But again, if it does decide to squeeze, we're giving ourselves a little bit of room here just in case we get that liquidity grab, and then we head a little bit lower. So you can see that being displayed right now. I'll pull it up momentarily on the TQs. As I punch in, it obviously wants to take a little squeeze.
Right?
But,
Always, bro.
It's how it goes. Name of the game. So there we go. We're in it right there, guys, looking for the lower end of the range, possibly VWAP in the works as well, too.
All right, guys, keeping my eye on INDO. It lost the 10. And again, I'm keeping my eye on this one because I feel like if I want to add, I don't have that many, I only have one out left. And the idea here is to basically ride the trend. So if we're going to continue to hold the 20 exponential, like I've mentioned before, sometimes, you know, the money fills seem to be between the 10 and the 20. And that's what I'm seeing here on INDO. And it's seen a few times. This hammer candle over here was absolute money in between the 10 and the 20. This doji candle here is absolute money as well, provided that it makes a new high. And that new high comes above 535. The previous candle high is 534. So we'll keep tabs on that one. But INDO could be, it could be kaputs for this one because it could be a double top at 550. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Entry level position here on GALT. It's going to have to hold prior bar low. Prior bar low, I put my stop in the mid 40s. I'm long at 58. Let's see if this one wants to end up holding and then move back for yet another attempt at that 2 3/4 break. So keeping my eye there. But EYEN, one that I had essentially on my watch all day and did basically absolutely nothing the entire show, and now seems to be breaking out on volume, about 500,000 shares a pop, $5 high day, 490 right now, and it lost VWAP, it lost the 10, it lost the 20. There was really nothing to pick it up off. You really didn't have a very clear support level, but it's breaking out now, and it's not that wide of a spread. I think it's a couple of pennies at the most, so keep your eye on this one. This could be a very good one. The ticker is EYEN, and it's up 68%, looking to go more. So certainly one of those ones that a lot of traders could have their eye on. Likewise, CGTL, another one that we talked about today, which has been a holdover from yesterday. It just pulled into VWAP, which is a little bit above that $2 area. I want to say 205 and change with a 223 high. It's certainly no RBEN or, HUSA, but certainly we're giving you a good areas of possible technical support off which to pick it up. So I'm keeping my eye here on GALT as well as INDO. Those are the ones I'm involved in right now. GALT is going to have to continue to hold prior bar low. Otherwise, we're getting out. My man Bovin was telling me to get back into APPS. And this one seems like a double bottoming off the 20 EMA. Last, it's still below that 763 high. So, we're not really making a revival of the uptrend quite yet. I need to see higher highs and higher lows for that to be in play, Joseph. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. What do you got?
Good look there. So yeah, again, shorting the top end of the range here on the TQ, slowly starting to work for us. Potential add, wait for that pullback here, and then we can add into this position. We can see the weakness displayed there on the tape as we flush green, but then boom, instant defense. One thing I want to note, guys, I mention it all the time. We're trading the TQs, right? So what do we have to do? We have to keep our eye on some of the other big names, the heavier weighted names. What's Microsoft doing? Well, Microsoft just put in a new high a day. What's Amazon doing? Amazon's heading towards that high a day, but Apple is starting to pull back. Google's still hovering around the highs as well too. Tesla rejecting the volume weighted average price, and NVDA pulling back from that breakout that we seen not too long ago. All right, so just keep an eye on this. If Microsoft and Amazon decide that they want to rip, you can most definitely see the TQs start potentially break out, but you also want to see the volumes being supported. But if Apple's breaking down, that's a positive sign for me, as well as Tesla.
All right, Joseph, PropX, baby. Level up, trade the pool, excuse me. Trade the pool, guys. We got a behind-the-scenes look at Trade the Pool. The dashboard tracks your progress in real time. It gives you live stats, live profit, and more. You can break down every trade, guys. You get to see your entry, your exits, how well it played out, I should say, on the chart. Check the certificate pages for your full summary. You get your achievements there as well as your payouts. In this clip, that's Michael T. He's already earned over $75,000 in total profits, guys. Trade the Pool gives you the tools and the capital to go further. So if you're ready to level up, visit tradethepool.com or scan that QR code on your screen, baby. Shout out to the great folks at Trade the Pool, Joseph.
Wait, my guy made $750,000 there. I see it on there. It's 735,000.
The one I just read 75. Yeah, but like I wasn't looking at the video because I was doing the read. But yeah, that's interesting there, man.
That's some big time.
Fantastic.
Oh, there we go.
Look there.
There you go. We got to go back to the lower end of that there.
Okay. What do you got there?
I don't know.
What's he got?
Looking at what they're looking at here.
Ah, okay.
Ooh, 8,000 right there. Okay, June 13th. All right.
RBNE is taking out all the levels, guys. Sorry, I got to interrupt.
Yeah.
RBNE 1398 high a day. This one's on that good stuff right now. $14 area of resistance coming up. The spread is decent for a name that's this volatile. And no, I don't want to say it's expensive. $13, obviously not expensive, but it's a decently. I don't know, something that you can handle. Like, it's not like a 30-penny spread at the widest. It's, 7, 8 pennies at the widest it goes. But you're going to have to pick it up off the 10 because it's been very respectful of the 10. Otherwise, you're looking at some risk over here where this one can basically start dropping right back down into that volume-weighted average price at 10 1/3. So it's a $13.95 high right now. Let's see if it continues to move into the $13.98 high. It's taking out levels, so watch out for 14. Here comes 14. There's a few hundred lots waiting at 14, but I'll submit to you that that's really not that much. Look for something a little bit bigger than that to prevent us from ascending. Here we go. We just touched 14 again, so it looks like there's a hidden seller here at the $14 area. Every time we move up, there is a bit of a rejection. Now, if we do clear 14, what I'll be looking for is a micro pullback momentarily below 14 and then a move up continuing there. We took it out. Let's see if we can get that micro pullback now into the single digits. So let's wait to see what this does at 14. Does it clear it with any aggression? It does. So it's clearing it into about 15. Let's go ahead and wait for a bit of a micro pullback into the single digits. We're not going to get it. It's absolutely rocketing to the upside. That's 14.49 high now. This one's really going. Be careful with this one. It can turn on at you at any moment, guys. 14.49 high of the day.
All right, guys. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NISE-listed Oragenics OGEN is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Yeah, well, that's a club that I'm unfortunately a part of there, so I might have to get in talks with Oragenics there, Sharif. So, I mean, yeah, there it is, concussion stuff, not fun. TQs, let's play. Yeah, it is what it is, man. That's what happens when you play. Actually, I wasn't even playing sports, so I was working out. But anyways, TQs, guys, are starting to get that breakdown. This is what I want to see. Let's head back to the lower end of the range. We are forming those higher lows. Got to keep an eye out for that. 75.05, potential target. Then we're going to take some off at 75 and then 74.95. Adara, what do you got for us?
Seeing on X here, I don't have a lot of context for this headline, but apparently the Supreme Court is potentially going to be hearing a challenge to Trump's global tariffs. Apparently, small businesses, or the group representing small businesses, has filed a tariff petition at the High Court. So keep an eye here in this market. Looks like these tariffs could potentially be argued in court. Also, Trump just shared this post on Truth Social with regards to Iran, unconditional surrender, all caps, exclamation point. So still lots on watch here. Be very careful in these markets, and I guess generally in the world right now, lots of tension still, for lack of a better term. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. All right, while Joseph was doing the read, we scalped a little bit here on RBNE, long at 14, all the way up into about the third of $1, and then we scalped. We're all out of this one, so let's keep an eye for those micro pullbacks as we talked. It's still zigging and zagging with 14. There's really no decided take of that $14.5 level. That is the high, but it's really that $14 level that we're having trouble holding. And here it is, losing it again, dipping down into the low 80s. There's a buyer at 80 here, preventing this one from bleeding any further. Let's see if that buyer gets exhausted on a second attempt on that 1380 area. Here we go. We're at 81s, 84s. Okay, so not quite breaking down below that area. I'm talking about RBNE, big mover on the day, 153% and change, keeping my eye out on that. Certainly don't mind getting involved again with this one, but it's got to set up in the right way. I'm also keeping my eye on INDO, back into the high of the day. We got 98s on this one. It's at 550. This will be the third rejection at the $5.5 area if we can't take it. That's originally where I had my out, at 550. And then I said, look, what is really the point, right? Why not just save a piece for the dream? So we're setting up here at 69. We're still unable to shake whatever seller has been there at the $0.5 for a hot minute. So going to pack my patience on this one and see what comes of it. Now, I'm also keeping my eye on GALT. Got stopped out of this one. So this one's my first loser. No, HUSA is still a loser as well, full disclosure, even though we made some back on that. So GALT, still a loser for me. We're going to keep an eye out on this one. It's still trading in the right range. I like how it's defending that 10 exponential, but it's got a 4-candle lower high retracement. So let's see if this one is able to make the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. If it does, great. It's got a couple of good signals here that could be signaling another attempt to the high side. 3 bottoming tail candles in a row on the 5. So keep your eye out on that one. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up for the break on this one. If we can print anything above like 56 or 57, I think I'll keep my eye on this one for a break of 75 pennies. Let's go ahead and set up on this one again. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I like the fact that it's still trading above the 10 EMA. I'll defend this into the 10 EMA. I think I didn't give this one enough room because I punched in a little bit high, but it's still holding the 10 EMA. It has been holding the 10 EMA, I think, for the last 3 candles in a row that have been close to the 10 EMA. So that's what I'm thinking about right now on GALT. Just trying to get my timing right on this one. It is quite the bamboozler. RBNE coming right back into that 10 EMA, of which it's been very respectful as well. So $13, the dip buy right now. Do we pick it up? I'm going to pick it up. Okay. Let's see what it does. We got right into 09s. Let's see if we can take out 15s or so. There we go. We get 15s. We'll set up at 20s, and we'll also set up at 25s. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm here in the TQ, still posted up at 75.05. Didn't grab my order just yet, guys, so we're going to hold on to this one to see if we can get this move. If the big names want to start to climb lower, then I think we'll be sitting in a good position. But MSFT, Microsoft, as Obi and them would like to call it, Softy, putting in a new high a day there, guys, 478.08, and continuing to climb a big-time day in Microsoft here, guys. So a strong rally. It did give up most of that move from yesterday, but now starting to recover off of some of these bases. So a really good look in Microsoft, and it's dragging the Qs up with it. So we got to be cautious. If the market does want to get a bounce, then we have to be prepared to get out of this if it does break the highs. But similar type patterns here on Microsoft that we're seeing displayed in NVDA as well too. For me, I don't like the looks of this. That's could I be totally wrong? But I want to see some more healthier pullbacks as we punch through that all-time high there, guys, and establish a new one. Again, that pattern is, I don't think it ever ends well when it kind of just goes parabolic like that. So we'll keep an eye out on this. We want to see some form of a healthy pullback, but that's a big time move that we're seeing here from that earnings report on Microsoft. Once they beat on cloud, the street's like buy, 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 and then here you go. You see this name after about a year and a half of consolidation, breaking through those specific levels, and then now continuing to climb. So maybe that accumulation was large enough to distribute higher and higher and higher, but at some point I do believe that we're going to get a pullback, and I think that's a good time and a good opportunity to take advantage. And just you can see the similarities excuse me, in the likes of NVDA as well too, guys. So just keep that in mind. We got the Qs back towards the high, so that's not too good of a look. Just missed that fill right there for 33% of the position, but Alphabet's starting to climb higher as well too, Sharif. So we got to keep an eye on these Mag 7 because if they go, then I think the Qs can go along with it too.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely agree with that. Keeping my eye still on RBNE. It's holding 13. It held the 10 very well, but the 10 is far below 13. It's about 1260 or so, but there is a buyer at 13 who's getting exhausted over here. You can see those shares getting eaten up, so we'll take that out there, and we'll set up exactly at the 10. That's exactly where I'm going to set up, so we'll take break even on that last little amount. But this one is really going now. Here we go with GALT. Looks like it's making another attempt to the high side over here. Let's give this one the old college try. Oops, flipped the wrong one there. Excuse me. There we go. So now we're set up GALT at 60s again, clearing out highs. Can it continue to go? Is this a false breakout, or can we make yet another attempt at 275? It's having trouble clearing 60s. So it held the 10 really well. GALT is the one I'm talking about right now with a 275 high, showing 260. Holding the 10 exponential quite well. Let's pack our patience with this one. I'm going to take it out if it loses that 240 level. So we'll go ahead and set up at 239, and we'll set up just like that. So now let's set up some profit takers as well to see if we can get a move possibly to the upside here and take some prints as it zigs and zags with that level. So I'm keeping my eye here on GALT, holding the 10 exponential, but not exactly rocketing up either. So place my stop on that one. Let's set back up here on RBNE because it's holding up at the 10 again. So this is the area where I'd like to hold it. Let's see if we can hold that 40 penny area. So I'm going to just put my stop. Boom. Nice. Right back up to 80s we go. We just got in on RBNE at 65. It gives me 85s right away. So let's go ahead up and set up at 90 as well. So this one's zigging and zagging right now. RBNE trying to hold the 10 exponential moving average. Here we go. Right back up into high 80, seller at 88. We'll extract some profits there as well on this one. Now I'm going to set up far higher than 13. Let's go 13.25. See if we can get something up there. And I'm going to move my stop now to break even. So we got 65s now on RBNE. So it'll have to hold 59. Otherwise, we're out. And let's cancel the previous area stop as well. So RBNE, we'll cancel that one and let this one do its thing, 21. Let's go back now to GALT. Yeah, man, this one's a bamboozler, holding the 10, but not exactly rocketing up. So I'm going to pack my patience here on RBNE. I have a bigger position on RBNE than I have on all the rest, and this one is breaking down into the 10. Not a good look. It's going to have to hold VWAP. Otherwise, this one's going to put me negatory on the day. We'll have to see if this one holds up at this level or what the situation is. But this one, a bamboozler central, Joseph. 3 bottoming tail candles, makes a new candle to make a new high, and then all of a sudden it drops off. Can't seem to hold the bid. Keep an eye on this one.
Good look there, Sharif. CoreWeave, I know a lot of people are talking about CoreWeave, so we're going to pull that up right now and see what it's going. Wow, okay. 172, big time breakout here on CoreWeave, Sharif.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the team's put there, my guy. But we got plenty of time on this one. Ooh, put in a new high
see how much
too as
we're out
well.
of money on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about $1,000 out of money on this one.
Just
right
buy
now,
another
yeah.
one.
No, I mean, it's sim. I don't give a...
Yeah, exactly. So you can just average into that nicely. Yeah. So there you go. CoreWeave 172.83. Consolidation didn't break down. Decides to take a leg higher. So that is a big-time look on CoreWeave, guys. So way to call that one out. We see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. We zoom in, see what we have intraday, volume supporting it. So now we've seen this in 3 stocks. We've seen it in the like of Apple this morning, NVDA, and then now CoreWeave continuing that big-time move, volume supporting it, genuine breakout. This is exactly what we want to see displayed as we punch through some key resistance zones. Well, let's pull up the options chain to see what we got going on with CoreWeave, if there's any high levels of open interest. Dara's got something for us. Talk to me.
Keep an eye here on GOOGL. Apparently, TechCrunch, I saw, it looks like they reported this about 8 minutes ago, said that Waymo, which is of course owned by Google here, or Alphabet, said that they're expanding their robotaxi service area by a total of 80 square miles in Los Angeles, the San Francisco Bay Area, and Silicon Valley. So Waymo apparently expanding its service here. GOOGL owning the company. Great look here for Google on the day. We're near day's highs. Back to you.
Ooh,
Yeah, really good.
Today,
Yeah, really good look there, Darren. You can see, as Sharif just mentioned, relatively strong guy. So not too long ago, not too long ago, it did put in a new high a day, just a minute or two. So really strong look in the likes of Microsoft and in Google here, guys. So got to keep an eye out. You're shorting the Qs. You want to watch these big participants. There's no questioning that whatsoever. Is Microsoft going to stop? Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, exactly. So here we go. Another putting in a new high a day here, and new right here is Microsoft. Sitting in a healthy, I think, second place now, I believe, there for the largest market capitalization. So there we go. Microsoft doing its thing. Is the volume there? Not necessarily, but we'll take it relative to what we're seeing there. But if you want to talk about quality breakouts, let's run through them. We'll go back to CoreWeave momentarily. There you go. Big time breakout on CoreWeave. NVDA move wasn't sustained, but you've seen the volume step in here on the 5-minute. So look for that continuation, especially if these bases are being held. And then we had the Apple breakout as well too there, guys. So a big time move, now reverting that majority of it. So in some of these big tech names, you're getting these genuine breakouts, but they're starting to, the selling pressure steps right back in, and you move back into the middle of these ranges. So very interesting stuff here, Sharif.
Absolutely agree with that, Joseph. All right, on RBNE, we got long at the $0.50. We took it out at the $0.25. Happy with this trade. I didn't have the full position into the highs, but good execution at that 12.5. That's basically holding the 10 exponential, but it's GALT that's tanking now. So we got 47s. I've got a dip trade at 35 to defend the volume weighted average price. It's going to have to hold up here. Topping tail into 275. Here we go. Show me 37s. I've got my dip trade literally at 35s. We're going to stop out if it loses that 30 penny area. Let's see how this one does. I'd like to get the best possible entry price for this, and I see VWAP as a good area. So let's pack our patience. I'm just not going to even bother waiting for it here. I don't think it makes much of a difference between there and there. So let's go ahead now and set up the right way. We're going to set up below that 225. All right, so we'll go ahead just like that. How many shares do we have on? All right, so we got that many, so let's set that up like that. All right, so here we go, GALT. Let's see if it holds up at the volume weighted average price or what its situation is going to be. Let's set up with some profit takers possibly into that $0.50. GALT strong on the day, but giving up the ghost, man. It is dropping aggressively here, so it's going to have to hold up. Otherwise, we've got no qualms with this one. Now, keep my eye on INDO as well. I still have one more out on this one, and this one can't seem to shake that $0.50. That's the bad news. Can't seem to break above that 550. But when you look at it upon further inspection, it's still putting in the higher lows. So what does that mean? That means I see a possible flat top breakout in the making, with that obvious area of 550 being the flat top. Now, it's going to have to maintain its higher low situation. Otherwise, I want no smoke with this one. So that is the look right now. What's going on over there, Joseph?
Yeah, the market's breaking down. We did catch that fill at 75.05 here, guys, heading back in towards the volume-weighted average price. So there you go, 74.95. Katina Man short Tesla. He's crushing that one, so good look there. It's definitely one of the weaker names today, Katina Man. It can't break and hold VWAP. It keeps rejecting it. So those VWAP sells, Neil gave you that his lesson of the day. Multiple attempts at that VWAP short on his stock. And there you go. You're seeing it displayed in the likes of Tesla as well. Ooh. So big time move. I was referring to the market being range bound today, and that's coming in full effect here, guys. So selling the tops and just working on my short game as well too. No golf pun there or anything. I don't personally golf. Do you golf, Sharif?
I don't. Okay, I live in front of a golf course too, and I could not care any less.
Okay, all right, cool. All right. I mean, hey, all my buddies love golfing. But anyways, back to these markets, guys. Back towards the lower end of the range. Is this enough of accumulation phase for us to break through some key support levels and then head towards the low of the day and even potentially some pre-market lows? Let's be patient. These choppy sessions usually come before something potentially big. I do believe we're going to get a pause tomorrow. So again, nothing that would not really. Yeah, you think?
Imagine he cut.
I seen
gives into the dawn.
I seen a couple people in the chat say hike.
A
couple of people in the chat said hike. Yeah. But I think we're coming. Yeah. I think we're gonna get the pause. So nothing that we don't really already know. I'm pretty sure Adara's gave us that information already. Like 99%.
Adara, what do you handicap that at?
Yeah, it's already 9.
I'm asking Adara is not the market. I can just pull up the FOMC tool if I want.
What does the handicap mean? I don't play golf.
On my screen. Go ahead.
I don't play golf. I don't know what handicap means, but I'm willing to give you my answer if you tell me what it means.
Yeah, like what do you think it's going to be? Rather than what the FOMC tool is pricing in.
Okay.
We know what that is.
Yeah,
we can just pull it up.
I think it's probably very likely that they keep rates the same. Jay Powell is a very intense, boulder of a man. He did not back down when protesters came. That's how we got the iconic close the door. This is a man that stands by his word. I think that, he seems to have a good command over the Fed. We've only had one time where there was a dissent in the decision. So I think right now it does seem like
and he doesn't want to look like he's giving in to Donald either. The guy keeps calling him too late. Imagine he actually cuts when everybody's saying that he won't cut. All of a sudden he's Donald's puppet.
And for what it's worth, Sharif, I want to say really quickly before I shut the door, so we have Michelle Bowman, who was Trump's pick for the vice chair of supervision. We know he's a fan of hers. He weirdly called her Mickey in a Truth post. Anyways, you would maybe view her as maybe sympathetic to his cause, but she's the only Fed member that wasn't for the 50 basis point cut in September. So even as one potential holdout, doesn't really look like a holdout. So interesting. I don't know my take on that. Back to you.
Thank you, Adair. What do you think? You think cut, hold?
Pause. Yeah, I'm in the pause.
Pause.
Yeah. Like you said, like you mentioned, I don't think that he wants to give in to Donald, and it just makes the Fed look like more of a political entity if he does decide to cut.
Dude, the Fed, I guess, like technically, obviously, it's not a political entity. They're supposed to be. The market's dropping here, and it's supposed to be basically this independent body. Hence, why people are appointed, not elected. This, that, and the other. But let's be real, bro. Hold on. He didn't raise rates for how long after he was supposed to raise rates, and then he didn't cut rates for how long? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so he wanted to ensure that he got the extension of his term with your former buddy there, Sleepy. And once he got his term extended, and all of a sudden the rate hike started coming in. So are we so naive to think that this is not a political body? That's just the way I look at it. Go ahead, Adara.
That's fair.
Just be aware here. Apparently, Israel has launched a cyber attack against Iran. Iranian technical teams are apparently working to restore the affected services. We got that just as the market dropped again here. I want to mention as well, though, CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity play, actually spiking into days highs, almost at $500, guys, just above 490. So interesting note here. Unclear if that's the reason for this move, but either way, that this push here in cybersecurity, specifically CrowdStrike, could be on watch as we continue to assess this cyber attack. Also, in about 13 minutes, we're going to get an auction because we've had quite a few of these lately. The auction that we get at 1 p.m. Eastern, so again, just a few minutes here, is going to be the 5-year tips bid to cover auction. We will let you guys know that 5-year tips auction when we get more data. Back to you.
I can't. Mark Susi, bro, I do on almost everything, but it's just the way you put it. It's so funny. You're a comical guy. I love your input. Keep doing you, man. Shout out to Mark Susi. You're always making me laugh. Big Spile has entered the chat. Can I read it?
I didn't read it.
You didn't bet it yet. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. Jay Powell will announce he's stepping down before he changes rates up or down. Big T is giving him an easy out not to be blamed for changing direct. I love how you're calling them Big T. I like that one. Shout out to my man there, Big Spile Burdette. But I got something to say to you, Big Spile.
Ooh, whoa.
You are fake news. You are fake news.
Ooh.
Fake news. No, I'm playing. Shout out to Big Spile, man. Always coming in with the heat. I appreciate you, Big Spile. Yeah, man, bring in the comments in the chat, whether you agree with Joseph and I or not, whether you see it completely the opposite way. As long as you're respectful, we will read out your comment. We will give you your accolades. We're not going to poop on your opinion just because it differs from ours, but be respectful, baby.
Oh, I didn't even look at the ball. You see the percentage on the ball? Look, this is the inflation prints right there. 5.6. 2.9.
I never noticed that. That's a good one.
Here we go.
I like that.
Here we go. We caught a fill, guys, here on the TQs on that dump. Cybersecurity attack. Israel to Iran. Very interesting stuff. Massive move down. You've seen the volume break through some key support levels. And then now we're starting to form that triple top, double top style price action here on the overall market. So you can see 1, 2, 3, and multiple touches right here heading into 74.80 as potential support. But with that volume stepping in, I think we're going to see some more downside here, Sharif.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, we're taking some prints here on GALT. It's nothing to write home about right now, but we're going to set up some. Go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, let's
go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, the market just took a big time flush down here, guys.
Get it,
You've
Joe.
seen the strength on the tape, the weakness, boom, boom. Look at these flushes. This is just me going back in time, right? This is why we want to focus on what the time and sales is telling us that at certain time, if you can get lost in the sauce with the tape, but there's specific and key areas where you want to focus on it, and you see that displayed right here, guys. Some big time flushes to the downside. $5 super chat from Steven Stewart. Hope you two are having an amazing day. Best of luck. No, I hope you're having an amazing day, and best of luck to you, my friend. Keep killing it. I hope you are putting on a successful, regardless, even if you've added money to your P&L, hit it. All right, what are you going to hit?
I'm really rich.
That is amazing.
No.
I didn't know I had that one.
No way.
I'm very rich. Nobody's as rich as me.
I'm really rich, he says. Did you heard that one where it's like, what's the difference between a wet raccoon and Donald Trump's hair?
Oh boy, I have heard this one, but remind me
A
of
wet
it.
raccoon doesn't have a billion.
Yeah. That was in his roast, right? That was the roast.
A wet raccoon doesn't have a billion. Wow, the market is big time tanking.
Oh boy.
I only have one more out here.
Boy.
In the TQs. We're gonna wait for 74.60 once again. Weakness is displayed. Adara, what do you have?
Get it, Dara.
Different things here. They're both related to the U.S. and Iran. So Axios reporting that Trump and his national security team are going to be meeting at 1 p.m. I guess that would be like 10 minutes from now. We also have Chancellor Merz of Germany, who has been opining quite a lot lately, or I guess in the last like 20 minutes, about the U.S. and Iran, has said that the U.S. decision depends on whether Iran negotiates and that the U.S. will be deciding whether or not to join the conflict today. So unclear why the Chancellor of Germany is aware of this, but regardless, he is saying that apparently the U.S. is going to decide on whether or not to join the conflict in Iran with Israel today. Back to you.
Dara, for that. Always appreciate it. You know, obviously, we're going to have to bring you the geopolitical news because that has a lot to do with these markets,
Absolutely.
like it or not, and that's the way it is.
Exactly. We got to cover that stuff. We won't get too deep into that, but we will cover. Minutes. Yeah, sure. Like, maybe we will. Maybe
I like
we
controversy.
Yeah, hey, we like a little controversy. And the market is heading to the downside, 74.59 and change here, guys. A big time move. On the sell side, I said if you're range trading, this is why you want to get in at those highs and then start selling towards those lows. But we got that volume spike that we were looking for to break through some key support levels. And then now you can see what are you in?
No. I'm happy, though. I got shares on this one. That's why.
Let's go. So I'm going to take my last out here, guys, on the TQs. Boom. There might be a potential ad at the boom, boom. Oh, what song is that?
That's like
boom, boom, boom.
Oh no! An earworm, Joseph. Why?
Around it.
No. No, hold on. No, not boom, boom, boom. You're thinking of the Venga Boys. We're not talking about that.
I'm talking about the
This is an R&B song. R&B song.
Turn around and let me
see that big go bum bum bum.
Yes,
Joseph.
We just need to
chat. Please B2K. B2K. There we go. Thank you.
Boom, boom, boom.
That was gonna drive me crazy if I didn't know what that was.
We're gonna bump here on the TQs as we're out. So yeah, boom, boom, boom. See you later. That one's done. The shorts working out better than the longs today, guys. You can see that we traded NVDA. What's everyone saying?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. We apologize. We're gonna snap back into reality here.
We're having a good time, dog. This is great.
But yeah, there we go. NVDL short right there, guys. We add eventually gets to out break even as it rips, and then the TQQs right there, a little short that we cooked up as we break through, selling the high, the range. That's why I got in, right? I was like, okay, you can see that we have multiple attempts in that specific range. Let me get involved here. If it does decide that it wants to squeeze, so be it. I believe I put myself on the right side of the trade, and then that's what. Is that who sings it?
I love that song,
no,
Big Spile.
It's Diddy, though.
Yeah. Dude, can I say to you, a lot of the songs that have Diddy as a feature on them, it's just like, I hear his voice come on. Okay, number one, I get it a little cringe when his voice comes on now. That's number one. Number two, you could see the degradation in his voice. He slurs. Way,
you were telling
yeah,
me
man.
this.
Like when I was listening to some of the old P. Diddy and the Fam kind of thing from like the late 90s, early 2000s, he doesn't slur at all. And then you obviously, because of whatever he was doing over there, the vocals just were.
Sharif,
it's bad, Joseph.
Speaking of
Joseph, I got to talk here. We're breaking out bigly right now on GALT. We're taking out all my orders. All right, now we had shares on this one as well, so let's set up some more. We're taking out all the highs right now. The local area high, 64. We're at 66. I've set up, exactly where 69. We got 38s on this one, baby. I took a much larger position than the ones we originally got into, double the previous position. So we're positive back on this one. Very happy with this GALT. What really kept me kind of optimistic about it was the fact that it was still holding all the key levels. I was poor in my entry on this one. So very happy with how this one is turning out. Let's take out some more shares over here, and then basically we'll wait a little bit for that high daybreak. Sorry to interrupt you, Joseph.
No.
Just wanted to kind of get that in there because it's breaking out right now. GALT, big boy move to the high side. It's still, not the number one gapper. It's up 75%, give or take. What do you got?
Well, I'm looking for what I showed you this morning, considering we were talking about narcotics abuse. Yeah. But you know who isn't?
Shout out to Big Smile. Diddy's vocals got claw. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. But it's not bad.
Who apparently isn't abusing narcotics, Sharif, is our good guy, Elon Musk over here.
Oh, show everybody.
There we go.
You gotta zoom in on that. Can you zoom in?
I can't zoom in on that there.
Hold down control and then roll the.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Ooh.
Yeah, it's there
we go. So negative. He's not doing any ecstasy there, guys. Nor is he.
The first thing I said to Joseph was, "Tell me which masking agent he took."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, I'm playing. Of course, we're kidding.
This is legit. I mean, there we go. There he is. And what is the caption on this? LOL. So, I mean, the guy's clean as a whistle right there, apparently, Sharif. So shout out to Elon Musk.
What are you saying over there, Fabian? We can't hear you.
What did he say?
Yeah. I don't want to repeat it, but it's funny.
The K word?
Like, okay, so he's made this point before. He's had to go and take drug tests before because the board makes it, right? The Tesla board.
After Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan experience,
right.
You got a bunch.
And like it was, I guess because marijuana still at the time was Schedule 3 or 1 or whatever the higher one was.
Yeah.
And so I get all that. But where was Joe? He broadcast out of Texas, right?
I have no idea.
Pretty sure he's out of Texas, and definitely weed's not legal for recreational purposes in Texas.
He might be lost. He might be in Vegas, to be honest with you.
Rogan? I'm pretty sure he lives in Austin, homie.
Does he live in Austin?
I'm pretty sure he lives in Austin.
Let's ask Bing.
Shout out to Big Spile. Thank you for the super chat, Big Spile. Appreciate that, my man. He also said earlier some other stuff that I don't want to read out, but shout out to Big Spile.
He lives in Austin, Texas.
That's what I was kind of confused about, because remember he was telling Elon, he's like, oh, this is legal, right? And Elon's sitting there smoking weed on the pod, but they were in Austin. So is it? I don't know.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Do they even have medicinal?
In Dallas, I've seen a couple.
So they do.
So there was one. Okay, so this is how it worked. So it's kind of started off how it was here. You need a card, so you go do that. You do that BS phone call with the doctor. You get the card, right? But then there's one store that was like, you didn't need any of that.
But was that a legit store, or were they just selling
It seemed legit, but it seemed legit. Yeah, but you know how it was here in the city. You would get them pop up.
But the police
they were closed.
Purposely was not enforcing that at the time, because your boy Justin came out and said we're going to legalize it, but he dragged his feet for 3 years. Got elected in 15, then legalized it in 18. And so then what he's talking about was we had umpteen amount of marijuana shops opening up, selling weed illegally, basically, but the cops were just like, right? And then they'd shut down maybe one every now and again just to show that they were doing their work. But for all intents and purposes, it was being sold in the city en masse. right? And so,
yeah, big time, big time.
Yeah, right.
Okay, the Qs are really breaking down here, guys. So you can pull up this chart. We're all out of it at 74, but then we take an additional leg lower. That's okay. We'll take it. We'll take the money and run just in case there is any form of bounce. But I don't see that coming into this market just yet. So at extremes, we will find some indecision. We will look for some indecision. But the thing is, no negative catalyst. That rebound may not be as strong and as aggressive as we might anticipate there, Sharif.
all right, I'm really happy with this trade over here on GALT. We're all done this trade. Got in right at that 2 1/3, and we scalped up all the way 2 2/3. It's zigging and zagging right now. It's kind of an indecision. It's got a topping tail candle on the 5, and now it's putting a hammer candle. So it's an inverse hammer candle previous right here. This is the candle that kind of pushed me out. When it closed like this, I was kind of on the lookout for the break of the 10, and that's why I flattened out there. So GALT seems to be finding support off key levels, but not exactly your best breakout trade here, at least not for now. So keeping my eye on GALT. I'm still holding here INDO. Look, the longer INDO holds in this way and hangs around more at around 5.5, the more likely I'm going to be to add into this position. I have basically nothing left on INDO, which is why I've been so lackadaisical about taking out the last little bit. I'm waiting at 69s, but the longer I see higher lows and that 550 flat top, the more convinced I'm going to be that we will get a flat top break. But when, I have no idea. But I want to build my position likely with the money fills either between the 10 and the 20, or even, as this candle shows over here, below the 20, in between the 20 and the volume weighted average price. So INDO, good look on the day, no question about it. RBNE as well, kind of gave up the ghost there with the topping tail into 14.49. It drops all the way down to about 11 2/3. Alas, it's back up to 12.5, 12 2/3, but still putting in lower highs. So you can kind of see that trend there. We're putting in lower high, lower high, lower high. Let's see if we can get some higher highs going on over here. Roland Joe, let's go INDO. I know it's an Indonesian company. Shout out to my man there. I'm pretty sure it's energy related. It's a former convict before in small cap Gapper World, meaning it's a former runner. So I'm pretty sure, we've seen this one trade multiple times before. It's a bamboozler, though, so be careful with it. Last but not least, before we go to Adara, I know we got to go to Adara. I'm keeping my eye here on EYEN, okay? So this one did bubkiss for the majority of the show, was very consolidative, did nothing, and then got a huge volume spike at around 12:15. It dips down. Sure, it doesn't keep going, but it holds the 10 like a glove. If we can take out 5 1/4 again, EYEN is in focus here, up a respectable Adara, 68%.
Let's talk here about the market. Here's the market dropping. An Axios reporter posted on X that apparently 2 Israeli officials told them that the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, and the Israeli defense establishment continue to believe Donald Trump is likely going to be entering the war in the coming days to bomb Iran's apparently underground enrichment facilities. So it looks like the chances of the U.S. entering into this war are becoming increasingly high. Just keep an eye on that here. Also, I want to mention we do have the 5-year TIPS auction. Apparently, the yield before the auction is at 1.66%. Previous 1.7%. Let's see what the actual auction has to bring us. I don't have the results of the auction yet, but again, before the auction, 1.66% yield. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. As always, appreciate that. Guys, I just want to remind you guys that we have a new way to vote. Let's load that bad boy up over here. Let's just see if it's still working today. So let's see if we get submissions. So we don't have to, Fabian, I don't have to hit start poll yet, but it's not populating the submissions, brother. That's the thing. So we do have 224. Let's see if we go like that. Hey, refresh. I just literally, should I use it in Chrome? Because I'm using it in Edge. So let's take, yeah. Yeah, my bad. I know, I took a page out of Joe's book there. Sorry, him and Copilot. All right, let's try it in Chrome, Fabian. Let's see what we get here. All right, let's wait till this. Okay, we have a delay, so I'm just going to give this one some time to populate. I see you guys are already entering the tickers in the chat. Shout out to my man there who wrote Tesla, GME. Cristobal wants to look at weed, option trader, NVDA, excuse me. Yeah, it's still taking its sweet time. I don't know what's going. You know what's up. All right, Fabian's taking care of it. Let me know when to restart it, brother, and then I will get that back on there. So in case you don't know what the hell we're talking about and why I'm putting this black screen up there with some tickers, we have a new way to vote for the afternoon rundown. Just trying to get the glitches out of the way, guys. This is a brand new program that Fabian wrote. Thankful for him. All right, let's have a look. He says it's ready to go.
Yeah, I love when the chat...
Restart it, Fabian? Sorry. Okay, so let's hold and see what we get over here. Do we get the pot? Now we're getting it, as you can see. So, all right, guys. So I saw you guys putting your tickers now. Throw them in now. 2 New York Cents wants to look at CoreWeave. Who else? We've got Big Spile. He wants to look at PYLE. Carter wants QBTS. Ama Hamada, Zim. Who else, man? Razib wants Tesla. Anil wants cash. That's not a ticker, brother, that we're going to look at. Anish, you got to put the $, my man, before the ticker. So make sure you're putting that $. It's like Twitter, all right, or X, whatever the hell they're calling it. Put the $, before the 4, 3, or 5-letter ticker. It doesn't make a difference. It picks up on all of them. It's generating not bad right now, right? Not too bad.
You didn't notice the color?
I did.
So that's based on today's performance.
I love that. So if it's red on your screen, that means it's down on the day. If it's green on your screen, it's up on the day.
And if it's white,
and if it's
white, means it's not really a ticker.
Oh,
which makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
well,
And
yeah,
then
that's another one on the right there. We gotta
So you
use
see
like a
what
word
someone wrote?
filter over here.
You see
Yeah,
what someone-
you did, eh? The chat's a liability, bro.
Yo,
Not
yeah,
gonna
honestly,
lie.
there was a funny word in the top corner.
Yeah, there's another funny word over here too. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Oh,
You guys are very
God.
creative.
They're very creative, baby, and you just give them the opportunity. They go buck
How do we-
wild.
Oh, are you gonna work on phasing that out there, Fabian? Just the non-tickers? The
Yeah,
things
I'm
that
trying to figure
fake-
out
yeah.
what causes it.
You see
Yo,
that?
don't tell the Chilean Nightmare how to do his job, bro.
Yeah, sorry, man.
All right, we're good, man. We're 250. Should we start the poll? Let's start the poll. All right, we're doing it live. We're going to start the poll. So now you guys have submitted. Now we're going to have a face-off between the 2 most voted names. What are those? Let's find out. It's BBAI and UNH. Which one are you guys going to vote for? Hit one.
No. How is UNH up there again? I didn't see it once on there.
Dara says, get it, UNH. Look, bro, you're asking the wrong guy here, man. I'm just doing my job. Start the voting. Big Bear AI, 1, UNH 2. Go. Let's see how this does now. So again, 1 equals BBAI, 2 equals UNH. Let the chat know exactly what you guys want, and we'll put one of those bad boys on there. The Katina Man had a banger on BBAI. I don't know if Adara's traded UNH on the day, but you know there's a good chance she does because she loves these spready tickers. So get your votes in now. We've already got almost 50 votes so far. Shout out to the chat, man. You guys are doing an absolute banger job. I wanted to mention, guys, over here that we got into a new high of day on my very good friend here, INDO. Where is it at? It goes into 560, so takes out that 550 high. The Katina Man smashing keys. I love it. All right, so 560 HOD now. I'm waiting at 69. INDO continuing to give up the goods here. Joseph, what'd I say to you when this thing tanked? Thank God, I got out of that. Your friend GALT just took a turn for the worse, my man. We got up all the way into 575, and that was as good as it was going to get. It lost VWAP, the 10, the 20, everything. It's all the way down now. It's breaking down. So this one is of no longer of interest to me. I'm talking about GALT breaking down bigly, as this guy would like to say.
I'm really rich.
I'm really rich?
I'm really rich.
Oh, turn it up. Let me hear it.
I love this one, bro.
I'm
very rich. No one's richer than me. Only I can have money.
Yeah, he has the most money in the world. I thought I thought the funniest thing he ever said, he was like, we don't need Canada's trees. Just grow bigger and better trees. Like,
They got redwoods.
Yeah, they got that.
They got redwoods, man. Have you seen redwoods?
I've never seen those ones there. Have you seen them?
Monsters, yeah, absolutely. Like sometimes
the redwoods?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're number one. They're extremely high and very wide.
Yeah, very wide.
Insane.
They're hold on, they're like really, really old.
They're very old. They're like some people were saying like some of these redwoods were around when Jesus was walking the earth, bro. That's not a small feat.
Yeah, wow,
2,000 plus years.
That's the thing, man. I don't know how I could I couldn't sleep at night cutting that stuff down and doing that stuff.
No,
you know
and
what I
you have
mean?
to know, like to get it that big, it's gonna be another couple of thousand years.
Right.
Like,
So yeah, I mean,
crazy.
just life's just gone to build something. But anyway, that's what's up. Yeah, thanks.
Man,
DJ.
Canada's got plenty of, look, let's just call a spade a spade.
I was gonna farm.
Okay,
Farming,
Canada's
for sure.
got big boy minerals.
Yeah.
Big boy minerals.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem we haven't been quick to the extraction.
Yeah.
Now we're getting that done. We got it on the provincial level, getting it done. Your boy Carney at the federal level wants to do it with the provinces. So it's just a matter of time. The problem is, it's time. China's the only one with actual minerals available now, ready to go.
Yeah,
Canada will be, though. And let's call another spade a spade. We are a way better friend and always will be to America than China will be. We have the
exactly.
proximity. We got similar
there.
cultures, similar political systems. So the fact of the matter is, Canada is going to be an absolute monster going into the next 20 years. We just got to get our economics right. I was telling my old man yesterday on the call. I was like, Dad, this is going to be a huge economic boom from this country if we can get it right.
Yeah.
I really do feel that.
I
We
feel
wasted
that way
10
too.
years.
Yeah, I feel that way as well too, Sharif. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So yeah, okay, there we go, guys. I'm looking at Tesla for potential bounce. Do we catch falling knives here? It's a tough call, but you got to take the swings, right, just to see if they come into play or not. Tesla, nice bottoming signals. Now we have to wait for an additional pullback. Don't want to chase it all the way up here. You know what? Maybe we'll start small. We'll just start small here to see if we can get this move back up higher. But I mean, I was just talking about how weak the market is. Slightly catching a falling, but I think we can get a bounce here in TSLL. So you can see where I'm involved. Nice hammer print at the lows. You're seeing it across the board on multiple names here. Google printed a 5-minute hammer right at the volume weighted average price. Apple now starting to see some buying pressure step in on the 5-minute time frame as well too. So you're starting to form some indecision prints. And then on the 1-minute and the 5-minute on Tesla, we're starting to see that displayed. So when it's across the board, that can add a little bit more conviction within your trade. But you can see I'm in at 13s. Now I have to risk to 02s. So that's about a 12-cent risk right there. If it starts to work, then I think we're going to be sitting okay. Obviously, we'll be okay. And then we'll look for opportunities to add into that position. But yeah, just going to hold steady. This is counter trend, so we might not get that extended move that we're necessarily looking for, or that move back towards the volume weighted average price. You've seen that Tesla has rejected it throughout the session. So this is where we open up here. Boom, reject VWAP, reject it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rejections right there. And then it rejects it another time right there. So you can see leg 1, leg 2 to the downside. And now we're starting to get that bounce. Look for it to run into some possible resistance zones. I think 1235 could be a potential target. We just need to be patient to see if the market wants to rebound overall, all right? So we'll start relatively small, starts working out, and we see what we like, then we can add into this position. So that's what we got going on. The Q's bouncing back as well. NVDA holding up relatively well. So it's good to see the market slightly recovering. I was just looking at Bitcoin. It's really, really weak today, guys. So that kind of sucks because I have added into this position. So that's the 1 minute. I'm going to pull up the actual underlying asset here momentarily just to break it down. And what I think we're experiencing was a false breakout, which isn't the best because we've seen Bitcoin go into month-long consolidations, make a move, and then essentially not do too much after that. So let's pull up Bitcoin on. And sorry for the lackluster and the pause and silence as I'm pulling this up here for you guys so we can just see everything from a daily standpoint. All right, so why was I adding into this position? Why was I looking for the break of the high? Well, it was specifically off of this candle, all right? So what we had here is a nice strong trend. It cracks it to the downside. You get that volume and volatility spike, but then you immediately recover the following days. And then we pull back once again, a nice 2-day pullback, hammer candle, and then boom. Once I add right here on this hammer candle, you get that pop up, but now we're starting to head south. I mentioned, I was talking to multiple friends of mine. It breaks this neckline. I'm at a dodge because I think there's going to be some more potential downside, and then there's going to be more opportunities to add, to get back into Bitcoin. So yeah, double top type price action. It's not holding the previous all-time highs. Not a good look here in Bitcoin.
But I hear an AMD, nice little pop. Xbox, which of course is a Microsoft-owned entity here, or company here, they've announced that they've established a strategic multi-year partnership with AMD to co-engineer silicon across a whole bunch of devices. So keep an eye here, an AMD Xbox partnership on watch. Also, just to mention here quickly, we talked about the TIPS auction there, the 5-year TIPS auction. Before the auction, the High yield was 1.66%. After the auction, 1.65%. So super uneventful, just letting you guys know, giving a bit of an update there. Back to you.
For that. All right, out of my INDO trade, I took it out at 68. You know, I was waiting for 69s, but yeah, I packed my patience long enough. It looks like it went to 73, but before it did, I had flattened out my trade. So I'm quite happy with how this one ended up going. INDO to the high side over here. Now, I'm going to keep my eye on another former runner that we were talking about earlier, HUSA's kind of been in, you know, this consolidative state. It seems to have support at around 18.5, give or take 18.33 last time I looked, but it is within a bit of a range here. It looks like it's a $21 range at the high with about a $19 range at the low. That is obviously subject to wicks both high and low. So just keeping my eye there. I'm not sure what you're upset about, Florida Trader, bro. I didn't say anything bad about America. My sister's American, so lay off me, bro. All right? Before you get yourself banned. All right, so here we go. Keep your eye on HUSA, looking for that $21 break and take above that level. The high of the day, though, on HUSA is $22.20. And that was a double top. We put that super early, 11.20, 11.25 candles. Since that time, though, as you can see, we've been putting on lower highs, right? So we got to that $22.20. That was the best we could do. Over here, $21.50, the best we could do. Now, the best we can do is basically a little bit below $20.50. So it's a lower high, lower high, lower high. However, when we look at the lows, we also have higher lows. Case in point, 1750, double bottom, 1850, double bottom. So we're getting something called a compression pattern, aka a pennant, right? Why do we know it's a pennant? Because what's it preceded by? It's preceded by a big boy uptrend starting right around 930. So I perceive this to be a bull pennant. When this ends up breaking out to the high side, as the textbooks say it should, your guess is as good as mine. What you can try to do to try to put things or the odds on your side, pick it up towards the low end of the range. That way, two things. Number one, if it breaks out, you have the best price possible. Number two, if it loses the area support, you have a really good price, so you're not losing as much. So what I'm going to be looking to do here on your boy HUSA is I'm going to try to pick it around 18.75, 19, give or take, in that area. Let's see if it ends up giving me that area right now. It looks like it's breaking back up into $21, but I've seen this story before where it breaks up into 21.5 only to retrace. Now, that's all the positive stuff about HUSA. What's the negative? The spread is prohibitive. It's like 30, 40 pennies at times. So obviously it's a very tough one to manage risk on, especially if you're trying to get in big size at key levels, right? So you're gonna have to think about that and make sure you are taking that into consideration when you're punching into this position, and as well as how much size you should be taking. If you can't manage risk effectively on this, you need to have that in your mind. So keeping my eye on that. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm just sitting in this Tesla. I did add a little bit to this position. Well, a little bit. I actually just doubled it up right here. So yeah, yeah, let's see if we can get this move back towards. Yeah, I have no idea what that means either, Sharif. So you can say AC Slater to him.
I have no idea what the hell that means.
I mean, no.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. It is funny. But I mean, yeah, whatever. It's each their own, man. Yeah, so let's go. Let's see if we can get this bounce in Tesla. The precision entry is right here. We noticed it a little too late, but I want to see a nice recovery. I believe it's going to be more of a grind. Maybe we're done selling on the day. Maybe we're not. Well, only time will tell, guys. What are we down exactly on Tesla? About 3% here. So a negative 3% day on Tesla, starting to pull back again. So got to be patient. Wait and see if we can get any move back towards VWAP. I think it's going to take some time. If it does curl back over, I think we have another add opportunity. But if it cracks this low here, then I'll just hop out of this trade because there's just multiple signs of weakness. So I'm glad that Katina Man has shorted this one because it's most definitely a short, especially what we're seeing displayed from the previous two daily candles right there. And the market looks like it wants to take an additional leg lower. The rebound in the Qs was slightly stronger than what we've seen here in the SPY. The SPY, nice breath. Now heading in towards some pre-market range, and the low of the day right at 599.13. And when I talked to you guys about what I was seeing on the likes of Microsoft and NVDA, want to see more of a healthy pullback, the market will find something in order to do so if it believes it. So yeah, there we go. Get this bounce back to VWAP. What are the tech stocks doing? Be patient. You can see that we started to break down after that news. Cyber attack, more missiles in the air, not positive. Follow the volume. If you're looking for those bounces, don't look for that complete recovery of the stock. unless something positive comes back into this market. So micro pullbacks towards the volume-weighted average price, and if you're lucky, you do get VWAP in total.
All right, DJ 2 a.m. wants me to look at Sunrun. This is a name I know Neil was involved in earlier. I didn't really have a look at any of the technicals on this. Let's have a look right now. This is the 5-minute on Sunrun. You can kind of see the selling off coming in yesterday in the aftermarket once we got word that the Senate was going to go ahead with the cancellation of some of those, what are they called? New energy projects, let's call them that. It was trading at around 9.5. I think it closed out at 9 2/3 yesterday, but how much has it dropped, dude? Off the closing print to where we're at right now. Yeah, we're about 40% in the red right now on Sunrun. Look, it's an ugly story. What can I say about this? There seems to be a bit of support here at 5.5. You can kind of see that. It wicked a little bit below 5.5 at times, but you weren't really able to close anything of note below that level. Up we go. We're kind of putting in some higher highs and higher lows. I don't know what you're looking for, DJ. Let me know. Are you looking to short? You looking to go long off this? Or are you looking for just a general analysis about solar? Because today is certainly not a good day for any of those names. So Sunrun, bleeding as usual, or as the other solar names are as well. So down below $6. Looks like the high of the day, 611. I don't know. Not much else I can tell you about this one. It's been kind of ugly with all these names. What's TAN up to right now? Let's find out what the solar ETF is up to. So from the closing print yesterday on TAN to the current price action, yeah, we're only down about 9.5%. So the ETF certainly outperforming Sunrun. I can go into the reason why we're down. I'm going to do the news in about 5 minutes or so. But yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. Before I do the before I do the chat, I like that. Have the power. Absolutely. Say less. You do not need to convince me for this one, baby. There he is. Goosebumps. I wouldn't mind seeing like Skeletor's head come out flying. You know what I mean?
They're doing the live action.
Are they?
Right? Yeah.
Where are they doing it?
I'm not too sure.
Oh, that wouldn't be a bad look there. Anything you want to cover, Joseph, before we do the?
I'm still sitting in this Tesla trade, guys, via TSLL. We'll be patient on that one. Before we do hop into it, let's take a look at some of these top performing sectors here, Sharif, before we hop into your news.
Sir.
All right, so here we go. Let's see what we got going on from a top performing standpoint.
Thank you,
Canada,
Cindy.
From U.S. Neighbor, 15 minutes south of the border. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Get it,
Cindy.
Cindy.
Thank you very much.
I like the dogs in your profile picture too, Cindy. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, very nice. I can't see that on that one, but yeah, we love dogs. All right, energy sector up about 1.4% today, guys. Everything else is in the red. Real estate in second place here, only down about 0.2 there, and then you can see technology down about 0.3, Sharif. And then we'll go from the third last to last. Utilities down about 0.8 there. Healthcare down over 1 1/10, and then consumer discretionary roughly the same thing. So only one green sector today.
Dang, which one?
XLE.
XLE. All right, guys, did you hear about this beef? Your boy Altman and your boy Nadella.
Yeah.
Maybe falling out a little bit.
Yeah, I think that started a while ago as well.
You can kind of tell that was going to happen.
Yeah, that was definitely,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Two big behemoths like that with, they're competitors now. Let's just be honest about it. So OpenAI is reportedly exploring accusations of anti-competitive behaviors and anti-competitive practices against, yes, their funding organization, Microsoft, which could trigger a federal antitrust review and a public campaign against the company. The move comes as OpenAI seeks to reduce, obviously, Microsoft's influence over its AI roadmap, especially about how computing access and product control is done. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. The key friction point between the two companies is the transition that OpenAI is trying to make right now into a public corp or a public benefit corporation, whether it ends up staying private or is going to be traded on the public markets. Still don't know. Microsoft may oppose them becoming a for-profit company because it's going to have an impact on their equity stakes. Talks reportedly focus on how much equity Microsoft would receive in the new structure given its $13 billion plus investment. And so the infrastructure here is basically because they're not independent. OpenAI is using Microsoft Azure's cloud and has raised concerns about the dependence that they have on Microsoft. And OpenAI has been trying to kind of respond respond to this by opening up their own data center out in Texas to lessen, obviously, the reliance that they have on Softy. So some of the strategic stakes here at play for Microsoft is now it's being viewed as a rival. So Microsoft and OpenAI, we'll have to see how much this rivalry goes, but the rivalry has intensified as Microsoft aims to embed generative AIs. Like, you try talking for 3 hours, bro. Across consumer platforms, competing obviously with Google, with OpenAI. We know Claude is out there, Anthropic. There's a whole bunch of them. It's a race basically right now between all these Gen AI models. So Microsoft, OpenAI, some stuff happening there. Let's go on to solar because we were just talking about the Sunrun and 10 ETF. So the Senate's version of Trump's big, beautiful bill would fully phase out both solar and wind tax credits by 2028, but it does, much to a lot of people's chagrin, keep the incentives on for nuclear, hydropower, and geothermal. So some people saying, you know, you're preferring one energy space over the other. That gives preferential treatment for some companies over others. There is that argument. That is a marked departure from Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, which heavily supported these renewables like solar and wind. That is looking at being phased out. Raymond James analyst Ed Mills notes that this version is way less damaging than the one that's already passed the House of Representatives, but obviously still poses a material headwind for clean energy names. I guess maybe the market was thinking that the Senate wasn't going to look at the cuts for renewables in the same way that the House was. It looks like they're wrong here because they're going to continue with it. So the Republicans aim to pass the bill before July 4th. Donald Trump has been kind of pushing Republicans in the Senate to get that done. But the final version probably will need some sort of compromise between both the House and the Senate. So a lot of market analysts are saying, likely there's not going to be a big, beautiful bill on the president's desk to sign until late July. Obviously, that is all speculation. We don't really know. So can you keep an eye on that? Anything you want to add before we go on?
Yeah, Tesla's starting to break down here, guys. The market is rallying, somewhat rallying back, so you're getting that pullback. Apple is hovering around these lows, but we're starting to see some more indecision prints here, guys, right around those lows. So you can see the buying pressure start to step in at specific areas. So you can see this was the previous low a day, and then now as we head towards that specific level, look at the buying pressure step in on the 5-minute time frame. Let's see if we can get a bounce here in Tesla and it join its peers, because it's a nice move that we got in the Qs to the top side.
That's good. All right. SoftBank selling a lot of its T-Mobile U.S. shares. They raised about $4.8 billion in doing so. They sold a block of their shares, about 21.5 million shares at $224 each, which was about a 3% discount given yesterday's close. It closed about almost $231 yesterday. So the guided range that they gave was 224 to 228. The deal was executed via a term sheet reviewed by Reuters. The ownership impact here, despite the sale, SoftBank will remain the second largest shareholder of T-Mobile US after Dutch Telecom. Prior to the trade, SoftBank actually held about 7.52%, or about 85 million shares, and the approximate value of that based on Monday's close was about $22.75 billion. The proceeds could signal ongoing SoftBank efforts to monetize its assets and shore up liquidity. The idea here is obviously they're on the hook for a lot of investment with the Stargate or whatever investment that they were announced there in the Oval Office. Some of the shares that they gained, though, of T-Mobile, I'm talking about SoftBank, they actually acquired in the Sprint T-Mobile merger back in 2023. So apparently they picked up about $7.6 billion worth of shares at no cost as part of the conditions tied to Sprint. I'm not sure if that had to do with anti-competitive or ownership restrictions. I'm not really sure why they were able to get that $7.6 billion, but I'm sure a quick AI LLM search would probably answer that question for you. Those shares are likely contributed to the pool used for this sale. So if they got, $7.6 billion worth of free shares, selling 20, how much did they sell here? About how much money did it come to? 22.76. Okay.
What do you want me to ask, Bing? Copilot there?
Be like, why did SoftBank get $7.6 billion worth of T-Mobile shares in the Sprint T-Mobile merger? Yeah, Find out that. I'm just going to go on.
Yeah.
Then let me know when you find out. NVIDIA, looking at, obviously moving up. What is NVIDIA? Yeah, we're up 0.2. So Barclays hiking NVIDIA's price target today up to 200 from 170 bucks and maintaining that overweight rating. The bullish revision follows, I'm just going to finish this and then we'll.
Go ahead.
The bullish revision follows a post Q1 supply chain check, indicating obviously strong near-term upside potential, Joseph. I will pause here for a second. What was the answer to that?
So SoftBank received $7.6 million in T-Mobile shares as a part of the Sprint and T-Mobile merger due to the conditions set in their agreement. The merger completed on April, I don't know if that's correct, allowed SoftBank to retain a 24% stake in the newly combined company.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Later in
2023, SoftBank was granted additional T-Mobile shares worth $7.59 billion at no extra cost after certain conditions were met.
Can you find out what those conditions were?
Yeah. I want to dive deeper. Yes. What were those conditions?
Yeah, beauty. All right, the revenue outlook as well for NVIDIA upgraded. Barclays sees about a $2 billion upside to the July quarter revenue versus what the street was expecting. The firm revised its basically its data center revenue, the compute segment revenue known as data center for NVIDIA. That's their biggest moneymaker. They're upgrading that from about 35.6 billion is what they were expecting on the quarter up to 37. So not a bad look there. And they're basically saying, the Blackwell supply reached about the production, that is, about 30,000 wafers they've made a month in June. That's below the previous 40,000 estimate. But despite the lower estimate there, they say the utilization rates are really strong and they're scaling faster than they anticipated. So even though they got a bit of a slow start there, they're making back up. Barclays notes that really it's agentic AI. The main story, I would say, for AI in 2025 so far is really what's driving the stronger than expected demand, at least in the second half of 25. Joseph, what did it say?
So SoftBank received 48,800,000 T-Mobile shares worth about $7.6 billion at no additional cost after meeting a contingent consideration condition set in the merger agreement. The condition required that the 45-day volume-weighted average price of T-Mobile stock be at least $150.
They based it on VWAP?
That's crazy, right? That's insane. At any time between the second anniversary of the merger closing on December 31st, 2025, after T-Mobile declared a 65-cent per share dividend in September of 2023, the threshold price was adjusted to $149.35.
Very interesting, man. Very interesting there. I didn't know that. I based it on VWAP. All right, guys. Mounting headwinds face Tesla, warns Wells Fargo, and that's why they downgraded Tesla today. They reiterated, I shouldn't say they downgraded, they reiterated their underweight rating, but they did drop that price target down to 120 bucks. They say, look, full year deliveries are expected to fall 21% year over year. They expect Q2 to be flat versus Q1. To basically to hit the street's estimate of 411,000, which is what the street was expecting for deliveries, June would require a 50% month-over-month surge from what they delivered in May, which the firm says is highly unlikely. Wells Fargo's Q2 delivery forecast, just so you guys have an idea, 343,000, which is about 17% less than the consensus. So Wells Fargo doesn't think a whole lot right now of Tesla's EV business, but we know why people buy this stock. It's not exclusively for EVs. We know what's coming. The analysts expect before we go on, Katina Man, what's going on over there, bro? What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man's short the TQs and he's jamming up a storm over there. He's getting amped up and he's going to be on in about half an hour. So if you guys know what's good for you, keep your eye out on the chat for the Katina Man's levels. He's been posting them in there. Let's talk about some of the analysts at Wells Fargo think about Tesla. So they expect free cash flow, to turn negative for the first time ever since 2018, basically forecasting a 1.9 billion free cash flow burn. They cite declining margins as well as soft deliveries, pricing pressure also an issue, and these ZEV credit contributions, which make up a lot of their profit. We know about that. The 2025 CapEx guidance as well remains elevated. They're looking at spending over $11 billion, which is also contributing to the free cash flow concerns. So these are all the different reasons why Wells Fargo not very bullish on Tesla. They also say, Joseph, that the Model Y demand appears to be slowing even with that refresh with the Juniper, and we don't still have that Model 2 or Model Q, the more affordable version of
that we've been waiting for.
that we've been waiting for, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Robotaxi and Optimus, they're not very impressed with that. They say little tangible progress has been seen, hurting investor sentiment. And you heard your friend Mitch this morning on the morning show. He said there's rumors floating around out there that the Robotaxi launch, at least in reality, on the streets of Austin, some issues coming.
Some issues coming. Yeah. I mentioned that I was talking to my boy in the works. He's working on the infrastructure there, so it would be interesting to hear more from what he's got going on. But I mean, it's nothing new from Tesla, from Elon, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes slightly over-promising, under-delivering, right?
Almost always, right?
You know what I mean? We don't want to go down that road, but again, there's the Model 2 we've been waiting on. I don't even know. I don't think they talk about the Roadster anymore. I don't even think that's going to come into play. So yeah, a lot going on. I mean, big hopes, high hopes for Mr. Elon himself. I think some things will start to slowly come together, but not at the pace that we were expecting it to.
I got high hopes. Ooh, that's
yeah, exactly. That's it. Exactly.
All right.
That's it. There we go.
What's happened, Katina Man?
I got some big pun in here.
The Katina Man's got big pun playing in the headset right now. Oh man, that brings back memories, bro. Well, RIP, obviously, Adara. He hasn't been with us for a while now. Very long time. Shout out to his friend Fat Joe. They used to roll together. What was the Terror Squad?
The
Terror Squad.
Oh, when you were doing your breakdancing, you used to be a Terror Squad.
Yes,
you were
of
a Terror
course.
Squad.
They weren't really the breakdancing. A lot of the breakdancing music at practice was 80s like early hip hop, you know, like Run DMC and stuff like that.
Fair enough.
Let's talk a little bit about OpenAI.
Let's go. Tesla.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Tesla, we'll talk about OpenAI.
Yeah, do your thing.
Tesla is starting to move here, guys. Add into that position. Inability to crack those lows. Where is that next level that we're going to look for? That's going to be around 321-ish or 320.40. Maybe we'll look for some rejection. But Tesla starting to work out. You've seen that big volume spike. It might have been a liquidity grab there on the Qs, but now forming a hammer candle, pulling back, bouncing off some pre-market levels as well too. So a good look on Tesla. Let this cook up. Wait for those specific levels. 1230 is going to be our primary target, and then we'll assess the situation from there.
You don't want to be a player anymore?
I don't want to be a player.
You just want to crush a lot?
Yeah.
Dara.
Is that a big pun?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Your friend Donald just truth
say?
or whatever. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding.
Oh.
Huh?
This one is pretty, it gets pretty graphic. You might not want to read it out loud. I've
Okay,
read this
thank
one
you for that, Adara. I do appreciate
It
it.
gets pretty bad at
Thank you for warning me about that. Yeah. Wow, yeah. That's
Does
an
it?
interesting
Let me
text.
read it. Can I read it? Let me read it.
You got to download True Social.
Buddy, I'm not
You're not going to download True Social?
There's no way.
True Social is like one of the only apps I give, what's it called, permissions now, notification permissions, because of your friend Donald over there. All right, while Joseph's reading that, let's talk a little bit about OpenAI here, securing a $200 million Pentagon deal for national security. $200 million one-year contract, guys. Department of Defense, supposed to be for frontier AI capabilities, whatever the hell that means. Now, I'll talk about what it means in a second. It's OpenAI's first official listing with the Pentagon, focused on AI for warfighting and enterprise missions. It builds on OpenAI's collaboration, which was obviously with Anduril, which secured its own $100 million contract back in December. The deal is part of a new division in OpenAI. It's called OpenAI for Government, and it includes a chatbot for ChatGPT government platform. The initiative will enable government bodies to access custom models, roadmaps, support tools, tailored really for national security use cases. So that it'll assist in things like healthcare access, data streamlining, as well as proactive cybersecurity solutions. Obviously, that's going to become a big thing going into the future. If it's not already, it is. So we'll keep tabs on that. Anything you want to add, Joseph, before I go on?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Intel because that stock is disregarded to everything that's going on. But first, we got to take care of something. New traders, listen up. No. We mean first month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Everything instant. Lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check that link in the description. Intel, thank you on, who is it? Alexandre Emerald. Thanks for pointing that out. Intel's on its own I'm not even going to say it's on its own path here today. Not even worrying about what's going on in these overall markets. A big time breakout. You get this pullback here, lots of indecision, and then boom, breaks through the volume weighted average price and essentially doesn't look back. So a really good look there on Intel. Thank you for pointing that. Let's go Tesla.
Get it, Joe.
Yes, Sharif. This is what we're talking about. So we ran into those key levels that we're looking at. We have my chart up there. We added to the position as well. We're going to slowly take some off here, guys. I'll take 33% there. Boom. We got a nice move on Tesla, gaining back some of the losses that we had earlier in the day on it. So I mentioned earlier on Tesla, we were looking for those longs, had to be patient. That volatility came into the market. We sold off aggressively. And then now we're getting that move back towards the volume weighted average price in Tesla. And Intel putting in a new high a day there, 2144. I know Neil and Katina Man are liking this one. So a big time move in Intel. But unfortunately, from a daily perspective, still not doing too much there. So yeah, it is what it is. And that truth by our guy over there, Donald, very interesting as well. So yeah, shout out to Mr. Donald Trump. Okay, so a big time indecision on the 1 minute here on Tesla. I have to take some more off. Listening to what the price action is telling us, this can close as an inverted hammer, and there it is. We do get that close. We trade below this candle, open up below it, then I'm out. But I'll be patient. Wait for it. Maybe we can get a test of the highs, but once it breaks down, I have to take some more off, which I'm about to do right now.
All right, guys.
There we go.
Let's talk. Oh, there is Studio 58 work being done. Shout out to Robbie
50.
Rob. Sorry, Studio 8, my bad. I was thinking of Studio 57 or whatever it was called. Shout out to Rob. That's Rob in the orange there. That's Mark in the blue. That blue in the background there with the patch on the white. Those were the windows that we took out. So that's already been filled in with drywall. On top of that drywall, I can't tell you what's going to go there, but it's going to be enormous and very, very futuristic. So super pumped for what's happening here, guys. The boys been doing a hell of a job back there, man. Make sure to catch that with a Studio 8, hopefully coming sooner rather than later. Let's go on to Apple. Apple faces iCloud antitrust lawsuit as the legal clouds start forming. No pun intended. You'll understand why in a second. Sorry, Adira. A U.S. district judge in San Jose ruled that Apple must face a proposed class action lawsuit over allegations it illegally monopolized digital storage through its iCloud services. So the plaintiffs argue here that Apple violated antitrust law by forcing users of the iPhone to use iCloud and exclusively iCloud for essential data, not for everything, just the essential data like your settings and your device configurations. You got to upload that. You can't really upload that anywhere else because you don't have access to system files. Right? So the new allegations are being brought here. So this is an old case, but apparently there were new facts that surfaced, which is why the judge allowed the class action case to go on this time. These include limits to third-party storage options for certain types of files required to restore a device and not just media files. So the consumer impact here is that, a plaintiff from Los Angeles. We saw this with Tesla, obviously, the guy who owned 8 shares. So one guy is paying $299 a month for iCloud. He helped file the case last year. The suit could represent a nationwide class action lawsuit of tens of millions of U.S. consumers who purchased iCloud storage. I'm not American, but I purchased the iCloud storage and do every month, obviously. Apple's defense is as follows. They argue its restrictions ensure the high level of security that it needs, especially for critical system data, which obviously has very sensitive information. The company claims its designs is intended to safeguard user privacy, not restrict competition. The courts will have to decide who is in the right and who is in the wrong there. Anything you have to add before I go on to Meta?
Yeah, Gora pointed out a good thing. Yeah, we just got out at the right time. That's what I was looking for. You can see that indecision print, an inverted hammer candle at that high, and then sure enough, we rejected. So I hopped all out of this Tesla trade. So there you go. Entry 1, add to the position. Where can we get better? Add more here for that break, and then look to take some off. As soon as that candle is printed, You remove the majority of your position, leave some for a runner, just in case it does go in your favor, or if it does come back break even. So that worked out relatively well for Tesla. We just need to add a little bit more shares. And yeah, good pointing that out there as well too, Goran.
Good look, Joseph.
Thank you.
All right, Meta expands their WhatsApp. We got this headline yesterday.
Yep.
We know they're going to monetize WhatsApp, Joseph. But Wells Fargo, now that they have the information, they're chiming in on how they feel about Meta. And they reiterated their overweight rating and their 664 price target on Meta, citing strong monetization potential. Why are you laughing? What did he do? Oh, why did they switch it to City TV? Yeah.
Why is
Can you
that?
switch it back, Ram, so that we can see when Donald does anything?
Family Feud on.
Got Family Feud on right now. Shout out to Steve Harvey, baby. Get him, Steve. Steve's got the best mustache in the business. I can't even compete, my boy.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that there.
Yeah, man. Steve's the OG with that
Steve,
mustache,
man.
my boy. Yeah, can you guys see? Assassino, there we go. There you go. Neil's watching. Neil's hard at work. Keep working, Neil. I'm just joking. All right. Sorry, bro. You were in the way. They were showing the screen and you were looking at it. I apologize, Neil. I apologize.
We need to bring back Jeopardy. Remember we did Jeopardy that day?
That was a good
day. Maybe we could do.
Well, I'm sorry, bro.
Maybe we could do a version of Family Feud, split the team in half, and then
that'd be good.
Boom.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Actually, that's kind of cool. Say that again, Adara.
Nowadays, this was a time where we didn't have news every 2 seconds. We did that game now, I would have to have all of my account. I feel like at this point there's too much news to do games. I am so sad. Just, you know what I mean? We're inundated with headlines every 2 seconds. I feel like every 2 seconds the game would be interrupted. But I do like the idea of a Family Feud.
Okay, Ram, hit OK, the circle button. There you go. And then you should be able to go down. There it is. Hit that. There we go. Thank you. Okay, let's keep going over here. So Wells Fargo continuing to like Meta, and they like the gross margins, guys. This is crazy. Meta has 82% gross margins, which is, I don't want to say normal, but it's a lot more normal for a non-physical product. Like we're talking about SaaS, software. Usually they have higher gross margins in the 70s and 80s. Meta obviously is more software with digital ad sales, so they really like that idea. And they also like the expansion into WhatsApp for digital ad sales. So the new ads on the WhatsApp update tab could deliver what they think could be $6 billion in incremental revenue. The monetization model aims to match Instagram's CPMs and ad load. So they're looking at basically taking a proven concept on Instagram and adding it to WhatsApp. We'll have to see how they do that. They say that ads won't interfere, though, with the private chats, and that Meta emphasizes a clean user experience separation. We'll have to see how that all works out. WhatsApp remains one of Meta's last major platforms, Joseph, that's been really untapped in the ad inventory. They've basically used ads on everything else. Listen to this. Total Meta revenue, baby, $170.36 billion with a 19% annual average growth rate. That is eye-watering right there,
crazy.
man.
Those are crazy numbers.
Beautiful look, man.
Those are absolutely crazy numbers. I think it's still a buy for, I think, this stock.
It is. Yeah, it's 700 or not. It's a buy, Joseph.
Yeah, it's a buy.
Big Spile, quickly. $5 super chat. Shout out to my man, Big Spile. We asked 100 people who is a person who does not pay up on bets. Answer is, I paid.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's taking jabs at me.
He's referring to Joe.
I don't know why.
Because, I will use the eidetic memory here. So Joe and Kyle had that Tesla bet. I forget exactly what the price was, 400 to 500. Anyways, Tesla clearly went down. Kyle was the winner, and I guess Joe never paid up on that.
You can pay me. I'll give it to Big Spile.
I will
bring the money over here. It'll find its way to
I will
Big
gladly pay up my bet. It was a friendly handshake bet. Adara, the fact that you remember this is absolutely insane.
You run a risk here about ever challenging Adara's memory. That's a risk.
Listen, I'm not pleading guilty or anything along those lines. If there was a dollar amount, my guy would be paid instantly. I don't have Zelle. I don't have Venmo.
I told you. Just bring it over here.
Bring it over. Just get it over,
give it
and
to
you'll
Big
get it.
Spile.
We'll get it over there.
Don't worry about it. You can trust me.
So there's no way. I am a man who pays his debt. There is no questioning that. Spile, if you want me to send you some good quality Canadian beer, maybe I can do that, because we don't drink that 4.5% stuff or that 4%.
Use the word, Joe.
Garbage.
Use the word, Joe.
Garbage, a good Canadian beer here.
We're having a good
Garbage.
time. All right, guys, we're just having some fun. Obviously, we're not calling all American garbage, not all.
No, I'm saying their beer, not the.
Yeah.
I will. Bud Light is hot trash, and so is Coors Light. So
you heard it from Joey Options, baby.
There you go.
All right.
Here you
See,
go.
Florida Trader, I'm not the one pooping right now. All right, let's get to the next one I'm playing. Pharma sector faces tariff shock as Donald Trump reiterates his intentions to tax or tariff, the industry. He wants them to build in America and to manufacture drugs in America. Let's talk a little bit about this. So the major global pharmaceutical stocks traded lower in the pre-market after Trump vowed to impose new tariffs on these pharmaceutical stocks. The pharmaceutical category had previously been shielded from these trade-related disruptions due to public health exceptions, but now he's kind of singing a bit of a different tune. That tune is he announced aboard Air Force One that he is starting the tariffs on pharma, and they are likely to be imminent, using his words. This marks a policy reversal from his earlier exclusion of pharma in the April tariff round, the Liberation Day, which was later rolled back, obviously. Trump's aim here, his focus, according to him, is to pressure these drug makers to bring manufacturing operations back to the U.S. I know that's something we suffered from in Canada when we didn't have our own production process. We couldn't make any of these, what are they called? The vaccines for COVID, et cetera. So we were completely reliant on foreign manufacturing, foreign development of drugs. And so I think COVID really exposed a lot of the supply chain weaknesses that we kind of didn't know that we had. And if we did, we kind of put them to the back of our mind, but they became front and center during COVID. And I think that that's probably why he's doing that. Maybe less jobs, more for national security. So that's kind of how I perceive that, Joseph. That is the end of the news. By no means, obviously, is that the only the only news plays on the day, but just the ones that I reviewed this morning. Sean Joseph. Hi, Sharif. Please check out this talk, BTRX. It has huge new, and it's news, I'm assuming, and it's rocketing. Please take a look. I'm in at $1.65. Let's go. Say less, my man. We're going to do it right now. BTRX, the ticker. Let's load that up. Show yourself BTRX. I typed it wrong, obviously BTRX. I think you typed it wrong, my man. He wrote BTRX. There's no ticker BTRX. Do you have anything BTRX there?
No.
No, I'm not. So retype it, Sean Joseph. Let me know exactly what you're looking at there, brother, because I don't think that's the correct ticker there.
Yeah, wow. The market is really
Joseph,
moving lower here, guys. I think there was another news event.
Probably.
So there you go. Yeah. So we take an additional leg lower. Yeah, there we go. So Adara's got it for us, breaking through the pre-market low.
Oh, baby.
Short in this neck of the woods. Wow, and look at the aggression start to really pick up. Meg 7 tanking. Adara, what do you got for us?
A Wall Street Journal reporting that Israeli intelligence showed that Iran is working on a trigger useful for a nuclear bomb. So more nuclear talk here coming out of Iran. Again, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, this just came out. Market reacting pretty intensely to the downside here. Back to you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That's
not a good idea.
Here's what I'm getting here. Drops on Iran action, defense stock, no, that's earlier. Yeah, what do you make of all this, bro?
What do I make of it? To be honest with you, Sharif,
BRTX.
I'm sick of hearing it, to be honest with you, man. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
No, but like aside from all of us being sick of people dying and stuff like that, and markets being volatile, I guess maybe it's not a bad thing.
Well, I mean,
if you make money both ways.
If you're short,
how do you think this all ends?
It doesn't end good. If things continue to escalate, I don't think it's going to end good. So it's best that these guys get to the negotiation table, see what each party wants, and try to find somewhat of a middle ground. But I don't think that's going to happen, especially when you start launching missiles at each other. You're probably past that stage. I don't think it's a good idea, especially from an Israel standpoint. Dual front war. We've seen how that went down before. In the likes of World War II, even though obviously we didn't see how that went down. But again, I just don't think it's a good idea. You understand what I mean? Market's tanking. I don't like to see any of this because you can see it reflected in the overall market. And I just want to trade stocks that go up. I don't want things to go down on the behinds of individuals.
I respect that, man. All right. Sean Joseph, this is the ticker you're talking about. So it's BRTX. Thank you for submitting that again. So I guess the headline is that they announced a share repurchase program, announced Tuesday that the board of directors has authorized the repurchase of up to $2 million of its outstanding common stock from now until the June 16th, so a year. This share repurchase program reflects our confidence in the strength of our clinical development pipeline and the future outlook of our business. So it looks like a biotech company. Now let's look at the chart. Let's close that out. So up on the day, I believe, 9.14%. It's not a heavily liquid name. It's $1.77, and it's only traded 290,000 shares, so liquidity, obviously an issue there. But let's look at the daily, because I don't know if this is the proper day trade. So very consolidative, as you can see there. It looks like it does have support generally between $1.25 to $1.50. I would say more along the lines of $1.50 support, with the outlying wicks being those $1.25 touches. They look like they're intraday wicks, and most of them actually close above $1.33 to $1.50. So that's my initial observation. For support with resistance, the majority of the prints do reject $2. Again, you have these outlying areas here, like in June of last year, as well as February of this year, where you get big moves up above 2. Looks like that one hit 2 1/5. Zooming back out, so that was the daily. Let's go to the weekly. It's much like a lot of these charts. You know, they've had their best kind of trades behind them. It looks like this one did a 1 for 4,000 split back in October, that is, of 2021. And since that time, it's been kind of a little bit ziggy-zaggy here. So there isn't much to say in terms of technicals other than the support and resistance, because there's really no discernible trend. It's very sideways. I would say look for a decisive break and hold above that $3 area. As you can see, though, it's had these outsized days, Sean, where it makes these big moves, retraces, big moves, retraces. Look for a sustained uptrend or a sustained downtrend. I like your entry at $1.65. It's towards the lower end of the range. I would say to you, the money fills, though, probably at that $1.33 to $1.25. This is not financial advice. If I were trading this, I was long, I had a long bias on this, which it seems like you do. I'd be putting a resting order, a good till canceled order, at that $1.33 to $1.25, so that I can have the money fills. That would be my move. Let me know how it works out. I hope you print up a storm, my man. Needless to say, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck. So we got a $2 super chat from Cindy B. Any thoughts at MP Materials? I got in under 30. I've had that pulled up for you. Good luck here. 1 minute, we're going to go to Adair momentarily. I know we got news. 30 looking really good. You get that breakout. You're in at the right time. Volume being supporting that move. Start to trim. Maybe you can have some ad opportunities, but now just get into that trade management aspect, all right? So you're past risk management. Now it's trade management. Look where your profit targets are, because you're in at a good price. Good luck, Cindy B. Adair, what do you got for us?
Looking at that BRTX, but yeah, you guys covered that BioRestore Therapeutics, so that was the deal. Their only catalyst I saw in it, for what it's worth, was the $2 million buyback program. But also, I have a little bit more details on that Wall Street Journal story about Iran and the potential, I guess, for nuclear there. Wall Street Journal reported that, as I mentioned earlier, Israeli intelligence apparently showed that Iran is working on a trigger that could be useful for a nuclear bomb, but apparently U.S. disagrees with Israel's intelligence. So apparently they disagree as to how far Iran is away from nuclear research. Apparently Israeli intelligence did not signal to the U.S. that Tehran was building a nuclear bomb, and that apparently Trump views this threat as increasingly urgent. So that's coming from Wall Street Journal. Just to go over that report, we have a couple more details. So I thought, why not give you guys some more color? Back to you.
Sure. So I'll just basically give you my understanding. Pardon me?
I was going to say you can opine on that.
Yeah. My understanding is that the centrifuges that Iran is using to enrich uranium are at their most secure facility. Apparently, this is deep. I don't know if you know the terrain of Iran. They're very mountainous, kind of like Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, because they're neighbors.
Yep.
So very mountainous terrain, and they built several underground or in mountain nuclear facilities. And apparently, if you believe what the experts are saying, the Israelis don't have the bunker busting bombs in their arsenal to be able to penetrate that. They need the Americans to do so. Now, we've seen the reluctance of the Americans to actually want to be involved in the offensive side. They have participated, again, if you believe the reports, in the defensive side, helping intercept some of the Scuds that Iran's been firing onto Israel in response. So, you know, it's kind of one where Israel has one opinion about the state of Iran's nuclear program, and the States seems to have a different one. They're not always in line with where Iran is and how the response should be.
What I got from an understanding of that, Sharif, is that Iran is still some ways away from even getting the nuclear onto a projectile. So apparently what they're doing is they can build it, but they still need to get it into a missile where they can launch it if they were going to go that route, which I highly suggest that they
well, yeah, I mean, you'd be the first person to do that since World War II. I don't know if you want to be known for that, right?
I don't know if you want
But here's the deal. So again, you got to look what the different countries are saying. Israel said that they were like a week away from having weapons-grade uranium for 10 to 15 weapons. Whether you believe that or not, that's not the point. The point is, so you're going to have weapons-grade uranium, and you already have missiles reaching and landing in Israel.
Yeah.
Right? So then it poses the threat. Now, whether they execute on that threat or not, that's a different story. But the threat is there. And then when the threat is there, it balances the balance of power a little bit, because then you have the counterattack response. And so I don't think Israel wanted to be in that position. And so they took the preemptive action. Whether you agree with it or not, different story. I'm not opining on it either way. Just stating the facts as I have observed them, as I've heard them. You know, we really don't know exactly what is happening.
That's the last
You're going to have to
thing
be there.
That's the last thing you want to hear, because as soon as you hear a nuclear projectile, it sell absolutely everything that you own.
Yeah.
Sell it all. Sell it all. I don't want it to go down that route.
I can't hear myself. I don't know. You guys don't have to agree with me, and I really don't care if you agree with me or not. I'm going to state the facts as I see them. If you disagree, tell me why I'm wrong, rather than just attacking me as an individual, right? Or saying, can you hear yourself, or your propaganda. Tell me what I'm saying wrong. Tag me in the chat. Engage in the conversation. Be somebody who's contributing rather than somebody who's breaking down, right? So, you know, do a little bit better, some of you guys in the chat. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who hit who first. To me, honestly, it's just all nonsense. Again, there's so much more things to worry about, I think, in life. Well, obviously, this is a big one, but you just take care of your family and friends, read books, go have fun and laugh. You don't need to be sending missiles and projectiles at each other. I don't know. Anyways, it's not my place to. We'll talk about
it. But, just stupid responses.
It's not even like pay any mind, because there's nothing we can do about it. Everybody's gonna have their opinion on it, like you said, Sharif. Whether whether we agree or not. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, okay, guys, we can bring you the news. Adair's bringing you the news. We can talk about it a little bit, but everyone's gonna have their own opinion on it. So yeah, it is what it is, guys. I'd rather talk stocks, sports, fighting, etc. I don't want to talk about all that other stuff. So,
more chicken.
Speaking of,
I will eat more chicken and I'll flex on you, baby. Oh.
Yeah, read it. Yeah, Rivian Millionaire. That's what I say. Read books, man. Like, just go in there and read it. But let's see what Adair's got for us. I don't like all this bomb talk.
We're going to talk here about some stocks that could be potentially moving off of this. So here's RTX. RTX near day's highs. Really good look for this one. This is a defense play. We'll keep an eye on LMT as well. LMT hasn't necessarily been moving with the group, but nice push to the upside for LMT as well. Again, these defense plays are going to be on watch. I would say one notable exception is Palantir, which is often viewed as a defense play, but it's pushing lower because OpenAI actually won a $200 million contract with the Department of Defense. So now PLTR potentially a little bit threatened in that space. To the downside, a lot of these other defense plays pretty strong. You keep an eye on Boyle or UNG, USO as well if you're looking for some of these oil plays, because we know that sector can be on watch as well during these geopolitical tensions. Back to you.
Okay, so
Jameson,
again, if you guys come at me like that in the chat, you're going to lose your voice on this channel. It's really up to you. Do you want to have a voice on the channel? Because I can block you a lot faster than you can make a new Google account, baby. It takes nothing for me to do that. So choose your comments wisely. If you want to maintain your voice on the channel, choose your comments wisely. If you don't, you're gone. Simple as that. Yeah. What are you looking at, Joseph?
MMA to the moon. Yeah, no, I'm looking at the market continuously tank here. NVDA is hovering around some key levels. Surprisingly, it's not participating in the sell-off here, guys. So that's a positive sign. If it does break down, watch out for some more potential movement to the south side. And there we go. We got some more news here.
What do we got?
There's definitely got some more news. There we go, Katina, man. Yeah, I'm not going to get too excited about this stuff, but Adair, what do you got for us?
Here is, sorry, we still have from my last throw here. We'll pull up the market. Apparently, an Israeli army spokesperson is saying that they bombed 3 major sites in Iran a short while ago, quote unquote. Their planes are now flying over Isfahan, Iran. So I guess an Israeli army spokesperson saying that they are very much, I guess, involved or flying over Iran. Keep an eye on the market with that in mind, as I don't know where we're sending you, but we're sending you somewhere. back to whoever.
Ooh, okay. We are overtime. It is 2:01. So we earned a little bit of the time.
Yeah, we
because the
earned a
boys
little
gave us 5 minutes up the top there. But how much? We got some in the bank, no? We got a little bit of
we got some,
time
we
in
got
the
some
bank there,
money
no?
in the bank for sure. We got time in the.
You got
we
money in the bank, huh?
Got time.
Money and time in the bank.
Time in the bank.
There it is, baby.
Listen, well, my time is only God willing, my friend. That whatever I have banked in that, He only knows.
There you go. Yeah,
there you go.
I know. I always told my old man. My old man's like, "Oh, I don't know if I'll be around." I'm like, "Don't be so arrogant. You don't know when God's gonna call it.
you don't
gonna
know.
ring the bell."
You don't know when.
All right, guys. Time to send you over to that way. You got Neil short MU. Sean, I don't know. It says you're not in any positions, brother. I think you're short in the triple Qs. He's $9 in the money. I'll let him hit the dollar club. See you later, boys. I'll see everybody at the green screen.
No.
Yo, what's up, Sharif? Yeah, look, man, I've been sitting down here since 12:30 talking about this short. Here's the short in the TQs. There's the short again. Boom, boom, pow, right there. This is how we're trading. And then obviously we're still short.